A full day of high school football state championship action begins with a great matchup in Class 3A. Zionsville needed overtime to get past Northwood last week. Great defense and some big plays on both sides of the ball by Billy Slama have the Zionsville Eagles at 11-3. Heritage Hills comes in unbeaten, and the Patriots have done it behind the 2,000 passing yards of quarterback Jay Cutler and the scoring performance of Cole Siegfried and his 27 touchdowns. A couple of 3A powerhouses meet next for Indiana's Class 3A state championship.
The Indiana High School Athletic Association proudly presents the 2000 Football State Championships.
A live look at the beautiful RCA Dome in the heart of downtown Indianapolis. It is the site for the 3A State Football Championship today, featuring the Patriots of Heritage Hills and the Eagles of Zionsville. Heritage Hills unbeaten in 14 games, Zionsville 11-3. Jerry Baker here, along with Bob Nagel, as we are set for 3 championship games today here on the IHSAA television network. Bob, Heritage Hills, a terrific scoring ball club, 58 points a game. On the other hand, Zionsville comes in here with 3 losses, and they lost 3 of their first 5. What was the turnaround for the Eagles?
I think for the most part, Jerry, it was people who stepped up, people who got better as the season went along. One of them is Billy Slama, an outstanding player on both sides of the ball. Defensively, 10 interceptions. He caught 47 passes, 730 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He's been outstanding for Zionsville. Great leader.
Now, we talk about the fact that Heritage Hills put a lot of points on the board. 58 per game is a lot of points in high school football. They must have some awfully strong running backs, and I'll bet you got one lined up for us right now.
As a matter of fact, we do, and he's just a sophomore, which will be interesting to keep an eye on how he handles the pressure and the load. Cole Siegfried has run for 667 yards, has got 710 yards worth of receptions, and has just been outstanding with 27 touchdowns this year.
All right, we are set for the 3A championship game. Stay with us on LaCie Sports on the IHSAA television network.
Looking at the key players for Heritage Hills, the Patriots 14-0 behind Jay Cutler. Their quarterback, 6'4", 200-pound senior, has thrown for 2,150 yards and 31 touchdowns. Keep an eye defensively on Adam Kress, defensive back, 6'3", 220, 66 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery. Keys to win for Heritage Hills, the Siegfried line, and that's their running back. We'll have to watch all his stats all day. They need to ISO on Stevens. Chris Stevens defensively for Zionsville is very tough, and they need a team of heroes. All have played well, must play well today for head coach Bob Clayton in his 23rd year.
Coach Clayton, talk about the excitement of your school being here at the RCA Dome.
It's fantastic. You know, our community's excited. We have a lot of fans here, a lot of the modern-day fans stuck around for this game. The kids are fired up. We're ready to go.
Talk about the keys to the game. Your first appearance here, Zionsville here trying for its 3rd state championship.
Well, you know, you can't get caught up in all the hype and the glitter and the glamour. It's the same game we play, no matter what field it's on, if it's got a roof on it or not. You know, we can't turn the ball over. We can't have a lot of stupid penalties.
All right, Coach, best of luck today against Zionsville.
Thank you very much.
And for the Eagles, who've won 9 straight, Corey Richmond's their quarterback, 6'1", 171-pound senior, has thrown for 1,519 yards. Keep an eye defensively, as we said, on Chris Stevens, their linebacker, 5'11", 198, 134 tackles, a sack, and a fumble recovery. Keys to win for Zionsville, big play offense. Ryan, Slama, Richmond. You figured out they can put points on the board. Open the bakery, a lot of turnovers, 39-9 lead in favor of Zionsville this year. And you got to believe it's been a magic season so far. They need 4 to roll on. Kristen Airy talked with head coach Larry McWhorter.
Coach McWhorter, talk about the excitement of being here at the Dome.
Tremendously exciting. Our school and community have just been on fire this week. We've had a lot of spirit things in school. Had a pep rally last night from the community. It's a very exciting time.
Coach, Heritage Hills has a potent offense, 51 points a game. Talk about how your defense will have to stop Heritage Hills.
I'm not sure we've got that answer. They're tremendously talented. We'd like to be able to, see if we could stop the run or control the run anyways and focus on the pass. I'm not sure we'll be able to get that done, but that's our premise anyways.
All right, Coach, best of luck today.
Thank you very much.
Well, as you can tell, they didn't wait for us, Bob. They've already had the kickoff. 42-yard kickoff returned. Cutler, Seifrig, and Hagedorn were the guys deep. You saw the number 7, the return of Seifrig. And all of a sudden, Heritage Hills an awfully good starting position to begin this 3A championship game with the nose of the football just across the 45-yard line. Jay Cutler, number 6, is a 6'4", 200-pound senior. He'll be a quarterback. Up the middle they go for a couple of yards. And we already had some fireworks, and as we talked about, Bob, a few moments ago, Heritage Hills loves to put points on the board, so they're going to try to do that in a hurry, apparently.
Well, special teams have been special all weekend so far. We saw a lot of big returns yesterday. This is a very talented team for Heritage Hills, and you look at their starters. Cutler, as we said, at quarterback, Seifrig, Kress, Seifert, Ash, and McAllister are the skill players. Cromie, Beasley, Metters, along with Kress in that offensive line.
Set up in the power I to the right side. Back to throw is Cutler for the first time. Sets up the screen play. Got it beautifully up the middle to Hagedorn. Hagedorn across the 40, down to about the 37-yard line.
Boy, look at the defensive starters here for Zionsville. Shorts, Decker, Davis, North, and Stevens in that defensive line. Stevens, a guy he can move in the line. They'll move the linebackers, Smith and Martin. And it's Carnicella, Slavens, Brown, and Slamma. Keep an eye on Billy Slamma. 10 interceptions. He's a big play guy for Zionsville.
And, of course, in high school football, a number of the players will go both ways. So you'll hear Bob and I call their names on both sides of the football. A first down and 10 with the clock cranking down. Just a minute gone in this game and already some early fireworks. The Heritage Hills Club with the football. They'll try the middle again and get close to the 35-yard line. Got about a yard, maybe 2 on the play. Jay Cutler, he passes for 2,000-plus yards during this season. Scott Martin, the defender, comes in to make the stop that time for Zionsville.
Well, it looked like a good start, obviously, for Heritage Hills, but Zionsville has been one of those teams, Jerry, as you said, they've gotten better all season long. They've won 9 in a row. They've learned how to win, and they like it.
The funny thing is, Bob, that their scoring average, Zionsville I'm talking about, went up at the playoffs, and that's a little unusual. We'll talk about that even when they ever get the football. Quick pass over the middle, intercepted, picked up at the 13-yard line. Coming to the near side, out near the 20-yard line, finally hit and knocked down out there. That's Billy Slamma, the defensive back. And Adam Beasley comes in from the right guard spot offensively to make that stop at the first turnover of this football game.
Well, we mentioned it in our keys to win. They've got a 39-9 lead in turnover ratio this season. That is the best in the state. And here's one of the reasons. Look at Slamma playing kind of center field back there. And the ball a little bit overthrown. The pressure was good. Slamma with a good return. Almost had a chance to break this thing, but a good effort by the Heritage Hills Club defensively to come in and get that tackle. So first turnover of the game.
And turnovers at this particular level and this particular point of pressure can be very significant. The 3A championship game just getting underway. A couple of minutes gone here in the opening quarter. Zionsville Eagles with the football for the first time. 11-3 on the year. Here's the belly fake. Back to throw. The pass is completed to the 25. Out near the first down territory. Corey Richmond is the quarterback. Matt Hagedorn is coming in from the linebacker spot to make the stop that time.
It's going to be a gain of about 11. Here's the offense for Zionsville. Richmond, the quarterback. Wagner's a fullback. Ransdell, Slamma, Hall, and LaFoon are the skilled players. Starkey, Knight, Cravens, Kern, and Applegate in that offensive line. They have some pretty good size. More importantly, they're quick in that offensive line.
You know, they'll mark it down right at the 30, about the length of the football away from the first down. Out comes Corey Richmond. They have Ransdell, Wagner, Smith, and the running back spots. Hall, Slamma, LaFoon are your wideouts on this football team. This is an awfully impressive team that lost 3 of its first 5. Here's the pass over the right side. It is complete. Caught for the first down across the 45. Knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line. And again, it's Billy Slamma. We're going to call his name a lot, Bob, I got to believe today. Cole Seifrig is the guy who comes in along with Zach Goldsberry to make the stop.
Well, each team that we've seen so far this weekend has had a hero, a guy that they go to. Heritage Hills will go to this defensive front. That is Ash, Fromey, Hancock, Elliott, and Larson. And then their linebackers are Hagedorn, Kress, and then Seifrig, Cutler, Kress, and Goldsberry. It's Eric Kress in that secondary, and Cutler does a nice job back there as well.
19 yards on the pickup. The offensive line of Zionsville with Starkey, Knight, Cravens, Kern, and Applegate. They average over 251 pounds per man across that line. They've got the defensive unit of Heritage Hills outweighed by about 40 pounds per man on the Heritage Hills front four. They're right at 210 pounds per man along the front four for Heritage Hills. 44 with the football carry, Ryan Wagner.
Wagner's done a nice job this year. 206-pound junior, 1,843 yards rushing, and he also has had a lot of touchdowns, obviously, with 26. He's a big play guy.
Zionsville opened up the season ranked number 2 in the Associated Press and the Football Coaches Association poll. When they lost 3 of the first 5, they fell off the face of the map. At the time they hit the final gun, they were ranked 6th in both of those polls. So number 6 on the charts. Here's the right side run this time by Ryan Wagner. Adam Kress, the stopper that time for Heritage Hills. They've got a good ground game and a good passing game, Bob, and that's got to give the defensive unit coaching staff of Heritage Hills some headaches.
Certainly does, and I like the play calling that first series of downs. On second down and short, they threw the ball downfield 19 yards, so they'll do just about anything, and they totally trust their quarterback, Corey Richmond. He's an outstanding senior, 6'1", 171, 118 out of 202.
1,519 yards coming into this afternoon's championship game. Here's the fake and the inside handoff. With the ball is Ransdell. Ransdell over the left side has the first down near the 40-yard line. Cutler is in to make the stop in the defensive back spot that time for the Heritage Hills Ball Club.
Well, he might have wanted to go a little bit more north and south on that run. Make sure you get the first down. He cut it to the outside. Still got enough for it. You just see the coaches running that clicker and saying, turn up field, son, get that first down.
Well, they've got the first down all right. 1st and 10, and an impressive march early on by Zionsville. They come in averaging in the regular season 27.2 points, and as I point out, they've upped that by 9 points a game to 36-2 in the playoffs. They had 44 points on the boards against Frankfurt in the opening game of the sectional tournament. Over the right side again, Wagner. Wagner gets 3 or 4 more yards on the play, and David Fromey, the defensive tackle, is the stopper that time, as the clock begins to wind down to the 7.5-minute mark of this opening period. First of 3 games. Our home is the Dome today, Bob Nagel.
Boy, there's just little enough time in between games. We can't get to any of these fine restaurants downtown.
Well, but we can get to the most important place.
That's right.
Which is the men's room.
Yeah, that's right. And the Jeff Elliott buffet.
That's right. The buffet is all set up for us likewise. No score. First quarter of play. 3A championship. Wagner with the football, tried the right side, nothing there. Slid over the left guard spot. And Eric Kress was there to make the stop on him. Brandon Knight and Chad Craven's trying to open up the hole on that left side that time for number 44, Ryan Wagner of Zionsville.
You notice a lot of movement in that offensive line for Zionsville. That's one of the things that Northwood had trouble with last week. Northwood losing in overtime. They went for 2 and didn't get it. And Zionsville came up with a big defensive stop. But their offensive line is quick, and they like to move. They like to pull people. They like to influence the defensive line to come through and then take advantage of that position.
Zionsville Eagles in their school colors of green and silver. Here's the handoff again over the right side of Wagner. Wagner will bump himself forward inside the 35. He'll get the first down. And Zionsville doing a very impressive job of moving the football to stop that time, but defensive end Adam Beasley.
We'll watch it on the replay here as the Heritage Hills Club closes quickly. Matt Hagedorn, number 46, doing a nice job. And they have been able to limit them to 3 or 4 yards on most of the running plays, but you do that 3 times, you got a first down. They're moving the football and moving the clock. And Jerry, when you're playing a team like Heritage Hills that has a a quarterback with over 2,000 yards passing, best way to stop him is keep the football.
That's exactly right. Richmond over 1,500 yards. He's back to throw right now. Has the receiver on the near side. Caught at the 15-yard line. That's Slama knocked out at the 4. Cutler again in the defensive stop. If you just joined us, the opening kickoff went to Heritage Hills. They had a terrific run back by Seafrey. Got it out to the 45-yard line. And then on the second play, turned the ball over, and Zionsville's pushing it back the other way, Bob.
Well, 3 out of 3, 52 yards on the drive so far, and just an outstanding job by Corey Richmond. And there have been a lot of fine quarterbacks in this series so far. 2 great games yesterday and some great quarterbacking, but right now Corey Richmond looking as good as any of them.
Well, that game last night, that's a 2A game, was a shootout. Evansville, Mater Dei, and Fort Wayne Lures. 25 yards on that last game over the right side, running down into about the 2-yard line territory. Not much running room down there. They'll stack them up. Well, wait till they finally get them off the deck. Ransdell, number 32, coming off of there. Eric Crest, the defensive back, made the stop that time. And they'll spot it down at about the 2-yard line.
Ransdell, a tough guy to bring down at 5'9", 195. You'd say, boy, that's a little bit heavy, but he's got a strong set of legs and a low center of gravity. You think about the greatest running back of all time in the NFL, Walter Payton, 5'9",
Yep.
205. That's great size for a running back.
At the moment, Richmond is 3 out of 3 through the air, 53 yards. Will he throw it now? Corey Richmond, 6'1", 171-pound senior under center. Good look at him now. Richmond with the pitch back. It is Wagner with the football, and Wagner gets back to the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten a yard, and is still knocking on the door with a 3rd down situation.
Ash came up, made a nice stop. The 6'1", 185-pound senior defensive end. And boy, you've got to string this out and hope for help. And he had help behind him, trying to take it wide. They can't quite hook the end. That's a good job. You always say keep that outside shoulder free. That's good fundamental football right there.
That's an excellent defensive stop by a team. We talk about the offense of Heritage Hills, but their defense during the regular season allowed less than 2 points a game. They had 5 shutouts, and nobody in the regular season scored more than 7 points in a game against them. Big play here. Over the top, touchdown. Ryan Wagner picks up the touchdown, and for Wagner, his 27th touchdown of the season. Ryan Wagner over the right side. They used him for the runs up the middle. Good for 3, 4, 5 yards at a crack. And as Bob pointed out, they didn't get a lot of yardage on the plays, but they got enough to keep the clock running, keep the stakes moving, and they got the touchdown and they lead 6-0. They'll go for the point after right now. Mark Nicolay will attempt the point after. The holder, of course, number 14. It's Matt Fritz. It is up. It is good, as you can see. So with the clock showing 4:01 to go on the first quarter, Zionsville Eagles strike first. They lead Heritage Hills 7-0 for the 3A title.
Ryan Wagner in from yard out for the touchdown. It comes with 4:01 to go in the first quarter at the end of a 5-minute and 59-second drive. And boy, just an impressive drive. No mistakes along the way for Zionsville as they lead 7-0. And those are points off the turnover. So a big momentum.
And as I pointed out to Bob also, the number of shutouts, 5 shutouts in regular season play by Heritage Hills. They're not used to trailing and have anybody score against them. Here's the kickoff. It is finally covered a live football on about the 12-yard line. So not good field position. Heritage Hills will get it for the 2nd time in this football game. They trail 7-0. You're watching LaCie Sports on the IHSAA television network. Bob, wasn't that was the David Letterman Memorial Fountain there, was it not?
I think he jumped in there one night or something.
Yeah. I know David personally, and I think there's a real good chance that did happen, yes. All right, welcome back, folks. An exciting start to this football game. Just under 4 minutes to go on the first quarter, and 7-0 Zionsville. Heritage Hills with the football. The pass out in the flat is caught and complete to Seafreak. He'll get running room at the near sideline. Breaks it out across the 35 to the 36-yard line, and Bobby Carnicella comes in for the defensive back spot to stop him. But a good offensive start on this series of downs for Heritage Hills.
A gutty call on first down, and Seafreak caught it and made good yardage out of it. Boy, that ball was up in the air for a long time. The pressure was good again on Jay Cutler. Look at him right in there on him, and he had to dump it in a hurry. And that ball, boy, that hangs up there. That's dangerous.
25 yards on the play, Bob. They use what they call an outside screen pass for the first time during the season in the regional win at Whiteland. That is very close to what I would assume is an outside screen pass right there.
Absolutely.
Over the right side, running room this time for Heritage Hills. That's 32, Eric Kress. Aaron Davis, the stopper that time. There's number 32, Eric Kress. He is a 6'1", 190-pound senior. Over 461 yards rushing on the season coming into this 3A championship game this afternoon. And aren't we glad we're indoors, Bob? It's chilly outside, a little wet around the edges, and the fans very comfortable. And a nice crowd you guys had last night for the 1 and 2A. And a nice crowd again here, and that's going to increase as the afternoon wears on.
I think we may set a new record this year, Jerry. A lot of teams here for the first time and catching on the excitement.
Here's the pitch back now to Seafreak. Over the left side, running room. He's got a blocker out front. Seafreak heading for the end zone. Can they catch him? No. And just like that, the 6'1", 180-pound sophomore, number 7, Cole Seafreak, picks up his 15th rushing touchdown of the year, a 56-yarder. And just as quickly as Zionsville gets on the board, Heritage Hills comes back now with a chance to tie.
That's why it's going to be so important for Zionsville to use clock today. That is how quickly this Heritage Hills team can score, and they expect to score that quickly.
Exactly. The point after will come from the foot of Ryan Elliott. He has 82 successful point after attempts this season. That's him right in the middle of your screen. It'll come out of the hold of Seafrig. It is up and it is good. Well, that did not take long. Bob, I think your point is well made. If Zionsville wants to stay in this game against a club that averages almost 60 points a game, they've got to have ball control. They can't let a couple of plays go this distance.
Boy, Seafrig gets outside. There's a good block at the point of attack. The contained man turns him back in, but there's nobody there yet. And the pursuit is on, but tough assignment for Nathan Slavens. He's not going to catch him. And he wound up with some blockers ahead of him. 115 on the drive, 87 yards in 3 plays. 56 yards for the score for Seafrig, and an outstanding answer to that first challenge. Remember, the Zionsville points came off of a turnover. That makes that offense a little bit more determined to come back. That's when you got to get back for the defense.
Heritage Hills coming into this game averaging win margin 55.5 points. Of course, they had no losses, 14-0 coming into the contest. Seafrig averaged just under 51 yards per game this season, and as we pointed out, he had 56 on that carry.
Arturo's Restaurant is located at 2727 East 86th Street here in Indianapolis. Arturo's Restaurant, by the way, is Howard Kelman's favorite Italian restaurant in Indianapolis. And I don't know an Italian restaurant he doesn't like.
I was going to say that doesn't narrow it down very much, come to think of it. Ryan Elliott, who has all the kicking duties for Heritage Hills, will bump it away. It is heading deep upfield, picking at the 12-yard line by Ryan Wagner. And Wagner gets out shy of the 25, and Cole Seafrig is there to make the stop. Seafrig's a name we'll call a lot today. He has 68 tackles coming into this 3A championship game.
Well, one thing you know for sure after this game, he will be tired. We saw that yesterday with Josh Smith. What a gutty performance. One of the nation's all-time leading scorers in high school football. And his team Attica got behind, and they fought back, made a game of it. Outstanding player.
Talked about the difference in average win margin. Heritage Hills at 55.5 points. Zionsville in its 11 wins just under 16 points per game difference. And when they lost, they didn't lose by much, 5.7 per game. Zionsville with this green and silver and the first marker of the game. And we'll wait for the officials' call. It's obviously against Zionsville. They're backing up.
Somebody lined up in the neutral zone.
Yeah,
it looked like it might have been the flanker.
Normally they will come out and really pay close attention to that. But in this particular case, they did not. They lined up.
Coachman on the offense. Still first down.
So it's first down and 15 now. And Zionsville deep in its own territory. Zionsville with a sectional win over Frankfort 44-20. They beat West Lafayette 38-14, and they won at Benton Central 43-13. That Benton Central club was ranked number 8 in one poll, number 9 in another. Back to throw again. Here's the pass on the near side across the 20, completed out to about the 24-yard line, and finally shoved out of bounds. Cole Seafrig again on the stop. The pass out of the backfield to Chris Ransdell.
Nice adjustment back there by Corey Richmond, in that you don't try to get all 15 of it back. Get the 5 that you lost, and then you can deal with it. Cut back just for a moment, but a pretty good sure tackle there by Seafrig. Boy, he's impressive. Just a sophomore.
Zionsville Eagles. Dr. Howard Hull's the superintendent. Dr. Taryn Armstrong's the principal. Kirby Whitaker is the athletic director. Members of the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. Just under 1,000 students in the 4 years at Zionsville, which is a town just north of Indianapolis. Here's the belly fake. Going back to throw again is Richmond. And it is incomplete. Almost caught, almost intercepted, and very nearly some pass interference back there. A lot of defensive stop by Eric Kress.
Steve LaFoon was the receiver, number 8, and he turned into a defensive back on that play.
Exactly.
Jerry Baker looked like it might be picked off, and he reached around and got a hand on the ball. Then, just by the luck of the bounce, he almost had a chance to catch it.
Talking about Zionsville's tournament success, they knocked over Culver Military in the regional 35-7. And then Bob referred to this moments ago. They were winners in the semi-state over number 5 ranked Northwood 21-20, and that game went to overtime. Semi-state championship, their third. The last they had was in 1996. Zionsville football now with 3rd down and 9. Back to throw again is Richmond. Got the receiver, lost it. Incomplete pass would have been very close to first down territory. Eric Kress again in on the stop defensively for Heritage Hills.
Those were the first 2 incomplete passes for Zionsville, and Corey Richmond and Eric Kress made a nice hit on that play. Would have been close to the first down. Might have had enough momentum to get it, but a good sure hit by the defensive man. Take the man, don't worry about the ball. He can't get the first down if you tackle him.
Ryan Wagner will drop deep in punt formation now for the Zionsville Eagles. They're now 3 of 4 on 3rd down conversions. Pretty impressive numbers, but this time to no avail. Standing deep, Cutler and Seafrig for Heritage Hills. On the near side to Seafrig at the 37. He has nowhere to go. Hit and brought down right at the 40-yard line.
37 yards on the punt, 2 yards on the return.
Dan Schultz the stopper that time for Zionsville.
Pretty good distance on the punt. It's a great atmosphere for these kids to work out, and you see when they come out to warm up and they get a chance to kick, and they just love it. The wind is always 2 miles an hour from 4 directions,
depending on where the air conditioner is going on.
Exactly right.
38-yard punt that time. Yeah, some of the kids have never played on artificial turf, so it's got to be a thrill for them. Some of the teams have played here at the Dome over the year. Peyton Manning, who is the quarterback for the Colts, sponsors a payback foundation where some of the local schools got to play. Oh, a wide open hitter up the middle. Look out. Heritage Hills Hagedorn is gone. Goodbye. 60 yards. Where did that come from, Bob? He hit the right side and somebody opened up the hole, and just like that, Hagedorn has his 11th touchdown of the season.
Well, what they're doing was looking for Seafrig first, Cutler second, and all of a sudden they give the ball off to Hagedorn, and he's gone. That's just how quick this team can score.
You can sure see why they averaged 58 points a game. Now that average is down in tournament play to 39.5. But my goodness, he hit the hole, and it was goodbye, Charlie.
Reminiscent of the backfield the St. Joe Indians had about 3 years ago when they won a state championship. You couldn't trust anybody.
Hey, that's awesome. Cutler will hold. Here's the point after again by Elliott, who was 1 for 1 in this game. And now penalty markers are down.
Had a man come across the line there for Zionsville, and it'll move it down to about the 1.5-yard line. And now as a head coach, you take advantage and try to go for 2. It looks like they will.
It looks like Zach Goldsberry is coming on the field, and Josh Metters also. So they may be making this decision. Head coach Bob Clayton, 23 years of coaching at Heritage Hills, 195 wins, 54 defeats, won 1 semi-state, 2 regionals, 3 sectionals. He'd love to tag on a championship crowd. Bob, I think they're going to go for the deuce here.
I think they are too. By the way, the scoring drive, 60 yards, 1 play, 9 seconds.
Thank you very much. A minute 58 to go in the first quarter. Here's the 2-point conversion attempt. They give it over the right side. They've got the touchdown at the 2-point conversion. Behind the offensive right side is Eric Kress, running behind Metters and Beasley and Adam Kress on that front line. And just like that, here's this touchdown again. Bob, this is awesome stuff here.
Well, everybody looking at the rollout by the quarterback Cutler, and they come back inside with number 46. What's he run the 60-yard dash in, Jerry? I think it's about 9 seconds.
That's pretty close. Yeah, that's not bad. Carrying the football and shifting it from one hand to the other. The Heritage Hills offense averages about 200 yards per game on the season. They already have put up 126 in the first quarter of this game here this afternoon, and they have been strong. 15-7 in favor of Heritage Hills, just like that.
Heritage Hills has run 4 plays and 16 plays for Zionsville, and the score is 15-7 the other way. So,
like you said, Zionsville needs to get the ball, control the ball, and they haven't had a chance to do that. We're going to get it back now. In case you're wondering, Heritage Hills is located in a town called Lincoln City, which is way down in the southern part of Indiana. I mean, really down there. 5-yard line, the run back now across the 20. And about the 22-yard line, Slama will bring it out.
Down in Spencer County. Heritage Hills, part of the Pocket Conference down there.
Ron Etienne is the superintendent. Al Logston, the principal. Jay Birch, the athletic director. School's about 300 shy of the attendance at Zionsville. 705 in the 4 years at Heritage Hills, and the Patriots at 14-0. Ranked number 1 in the final AP poll, number 2 in the final Football Coaches Association poll. They started out 4th in the AP poll, tied for 6th in the IFCA poll, and 1 and 2 when the season came to a screeching halt. Up the middle and nothing doing.
Well, the first drive they went 80 yards in 12 plays. The last drive they had to give up the football after the initial series of downs, so it's important now for Zionsville to reestablish a little bit of offense here.
Good look into the defensive huddle, and now the offensive side of the line for Zionsville. There's your score in the upper right-hand corner. That's the time left in the first quarter of this game. Zionsville with Corey Richmond at quarterback. They've run Ransdell, Wagner out of the running back spots. You'll have Billy Slama in a receiving position from time to time, because Billy is set out way to the top of your screen, right on the 20-yard line. Wide out also at the bottom of your screen. Here's the pitch over the left side to Wagner. Wagner will get about 3 yards on the play. And that's what they've been doing, Bob, pretty effectively. 3 or 4 yards. Munier is the guy who comes in to make the stop from the defensive tackle position. They do not have the explosive offense, obviously, that Heritage Hills does.
It'll be 3rd down and about 5. Again, they go wide here, trying to pinch the end. But look at the play. Outstanding play there by the linebacker as Munier, again, closed very quickly and took that good angle. That makes the running back either go out of bounds or try to cut back with the momentum in his face, and didn't get much more after the contact.
You saw Corey Richmond coming back up to the line of scrimmage wearing number 1 for Zionsville. Twin setbacks, wideouts both ways. They will give the ball to the second man through this time. That's Ransdell. And he will get the first down out to the 35. Adam Kress, the linebacker, makes the stop. Kress, one of the top tacklers on this team. In fact, he leads the team in total tackles with 66 coming into this afternoon's game.
Well, every time the Zionsville Eagles put Billy Slama way out wide, he also takes one of the best tacklers in Eric Kress out away from the center of the field, and kind of a gutty call that time, running the ball on 3rd and 5.
Whistles on the field will stop the clock with 7 seconds remaining, and I believe it's an equipment situation for Heritage Hills. They've got it straightened away now.
Got the chin strap back on for
Adam Kress, I believe they were working on out there. Zionsville can score. They put 31 points in the first quarter against West Lafayette. That's going to be it. We'll come back with the second quarter. It's 15-7 Heritage Hills. Listening Sports on the IHSA Television Network. Heritage Hills Ball Club on top 15-7. Tomorrow, the Indianapolis Colts have a big game against Miami here at the Dome, and one of the guys who will be in uniform here on the field tomorrow is a Heritage Hills alum. He is on the sideline right now with Kristen Airy.
Thank you very much, Jerry Baker, and with me a very famous Heritage Hills alum, Ken Dilger, tight end of the Indianapolis Colts. Has to be a thrill for you to see your high school here in the finals.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. I saw them a couple times this year, but to get to the Dome is what we've been working for ever since Bob Clayton came to Heritage Hills. And I didn't get there, but I'm glad these guys are here.
You mentioned to me that same offense that you ran 12 years ago.
Yeah, it was. I was the quarterback here, and the one we scored on was just the outside option play that Bob called, and it worked well, and it's the same offense as I ran 12 years ago.
What's it been like for you to be here among your former high school, the players here, the teammates? They played Whiteland, they played Roncalli. You've been able to see them play, haven't you?
Yeah, I went down to the Whiteland game for the first half, and I was out of town last week in Green Bay, so I couldn't watch them play, but it's just a big thrill for everybody here. All these fans here were the guys who supported me in high school and college, and living with the Colts and supporting us today.
Did you give them any tips about playing on the surface here at the Dome?
Just, it's a little bit spongy. Just wear a regular flat bottom basketball shoe, but other than that, it's no big deal.
We were talking, Heritage Hills gives up 4.5 points a game. They give up that touchdown early on the turnover, and you talked about how putting this offense is. What were the keys there to get the 15-7 lead?
Well, I think the first couple of series just nerves on defense and offense, but I think once we settle down, we just run our basic offense. We put up a lot of points this year on everybody, and we just do what we can today and not make many mistakes. We should win the game.
What was it like playing quarterback at Heritage Hills? You're a tight end now. Most people didn't realize you played quarterback, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know, we were pretty good, ranked 4th in the state before we lost to the top team, but a lot of fun. You know, we threw the ball well, ran, had a good group of guys I still talk to today, and it's just a good time of my life.
Sounds like we have a real good playback here for Heritage Hills. It's very loud down here. A lot of the same coaches, same coaching staff that you played for, Ken?
Yeah, there's been some turnover, but Bob's always has a good group of guys to come out and coach for him. A lot of ex-players that come back and help them coach. So it's just a tight community down where I'm from, and it shows. You know, look at the stands today.
What's it going to be like for you tomorrow? A big game against the Miami Dolphins. You win, you have a share of first place in the AFC East.
It's going to be a big game. You know, the last 5 games were all big for us. Right now, we're trying to get some plays going in the first half. You know, a couple of games we didn't really do well, but I think tomorrow the players are going to be fired up. We know what to expect out of Miami. They're a very good defense, so we're going to have to execute our game plan well tomorrow.
All right, Heritage Hills' own Ken Dilger is here, and we're going to let go back your team's own offense now. Hopefully, good things for you today, and then good things for the Colts tomorrow.
I hope so. Thanks.
All right, Ken Dilger, Heritage Hills. Let's throw it back up to Jerry and Bob up in the press box.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Good luck to the Colts tomorrow. Very big game in the AFC. The turnover, Cole Safrig on the intercept that time. The first turnover of the afternoon for Zionsville. And the powerful offense of Heritage Hills has the football again, just across their own 30-yard line. Cutler runs the ball club at quarterback in the red and white. Here's the pitch back deep this time to Eric Kress. Kress up to the right side. Kress to the 40, close to first down territory.
Had that football out there like a loaf of bread there for a little bit. Might have lost it, but hung on to it for a nice gain. Out near the first down, about a yard short, so we gain of about 9 yards in the play. Boy, you got to keep an eye on Ken Dilger. He may try to slip into a uniform down there. He knows the playbook.
Yeah, that's right. He said it hadn't changed in all the years since he was there. And I'll tell you, the size of some of these kids playing high school football today, he might be able to get the job done. Although he may want to take over quarterback, and I'm not sure Cutler would like that right now. Tight ends set to the left side. In fact, they've got him really on the both side of the line. Quickly over the left side. That's Hagedorn with the football. He will get the first down. Heritage Hills, we talked about their offense as Carnicella comes in for the stop. They put up 55 points at Washington in the sectional, 55-3, 36-7 at Mount Vernon, and in the sectional championship game, 47-7. You can see coming to the near sideline. That's Hagedorn. Their running back was coming out of the lineup, apparently with a bum knee, ankle, something they're going to take him to the bench and work him over pretty well. In the regional, they knocked off 10th-ranked Whiteland 32-22, and then shut out Ron Colley, and that was a good Ron Colley club that they beat, Bob, 27-0 last week.
That's pretty impressive. Anytime you see that donut up there, you know that that's avoiding any mistake. In addition to playing good defense, nobody got lucky against you, which means you were solid all day.
As a matter of fact, in that game at Ron Colley last Saturday night, they had 3 interceptions. Cutler had 3 interceptions on defense. And of course, he is the quarterback of this team. So they've used him on both sides, and they held Ron Colley to only 107 yards total rushing in 38 attempts in that game. And so far, they've shown the ability, at least initially, to stop Zionsville, although Zionsville stopped itself just moments ago. The pass out to the flat is completed to Kress. Kress will get the first down.
Nice job lofting that ball out there. The only guy that could catch it was Kress. Pulled it in and got out of bounds at about the 45-yard line.
21 receptions, 316 plus yards on the season for him. Goes right where the marker is and gets out of bounds and stops the clock with 8:48 to go here in the first quarter. First half, I should say. 14-yard gain on the play. 15-7. Heritage Hills. They scored on a 60-yard run for Ryan Wagner. And after they had let the ball get away their first possession, rolling out to the right side of the keeper, Cutler the quarterback, didn't get anywhere this time.
Got beat up by the other quarterback. Pretty nice tackle by Corey Richmond in the open field.
Austin Smith also went on the tackle that time. And Cutler will go back down and face a second down and 11. Here is that situation on the sideline we were talking about with Matt Hagedorn, the 6', 170-pound junior. It appears to be an ankle. We thought it might be.
Well, they're looking at it. Not a whole lot of swelling, it doesn't appear to be, but boy, the surface is so different sometimes when you try to plant and cut. You'll just you'll affect the ankle in spots that it's not used to being affected just because of the carpet.
Although, having been down on the field in the last month or so, Bob, this carpet down here is about as good as it gets. You and I were chatting before the game. Some carpets are like linoleum or concrete, but this has got a nice little cushion to it.
It does. And Christian Airy is on the sidelines with an update on that ankle injury.
All right, Bob. Matt Hagedorn, they're retaping his ankle. Talked to one of the training staff members, and they said he's had a problem, a sprained ankle. He re-sprained it. Of course, he's a key part of their backfield, scored an earlier touchdown. He is ready to go back in the game once they get his ankle retaped.
All right, Chris, 3rd and 8. Pass completed. They got the first down inside the 35-yard line. Well, that's an awfully nice play that time by Tim Ash. He angled in from the left side, set far out to the left, just a little cut pattern inside, and Ash picks up his 15th pass reception. 14 receptions for 252 yards and 3 touchdowns coming into this playoff game.
Well, I'll tell you what, they are coming very close to getting to Cutler in that backfield. Good defensive secondary coverage there, but enough for the first down. And
Tim, is that 9 out of 10 third down? Is that what you told me there? Third down conversions have been very effective for Heritage Hill so far in this game. They've kept it alive. Wideouts both ways. Slot also set to the right side. Here's the quick run up the middle. Running room this time for Cutler. Cutler is going to be close to first down territory again. And in fact, the early signal is he does have the first down, and Heritage Hills just continues to move this football.
And they're going to respot it now. Looks like it might be.
It looks short now, doesn't it, Bob?
Boy, it's
right there.
Close. We may have another measurement here.
Austin Smith, the defensive stopper that time. They moved the yard marker up. Let's take a look at it again.
And you watch it on the replay, and Cutler just kind of a quarterback draw. They spotted an opening in the middle. Got spun around there and meets up with Richmond again, the quarterback on the other side. These two are going to battle all day long. Looks like he might have it. We want to remind you folks, there is a Burger King in Zionsville at 1490 West Oak Street. Burger King before or after the game, or after first down if you need to.
If you have not been up to Zionsville, it's a beautiful little community. Their main street is an all brick street up there. It's kind of got the old style feeling. Cutler going back out on the field. It was good enough for the first down. The 9th play of this drive. Cutler, by the way, passing is 5 out of 6 for 68 yards. First down and 10 with 6:15 to go here in the second quarter. Over the right side, still shy of the 20-yard line. Got about 2 on the play.
Well, Zionsville needs a hero here. Somebody come up with a fumble or an interception. 6:05 left to go in the first half. They certainly would have time to come back and score, but boy, you don't want to dig that hole any deeper. The sand starts falling in around you if you're not careful.
Yes, it does. Crowd pretty quiet now on both sides of the field, although down below us and to our right, a sea of red and white Heritage Hills fans all standing in unison as they have watched their team jump out to a 15-7 lead with 5:40 to play in this first half of activity. 3A championship game. Barry Baker along with Bob Nagel and Kristen Airy and the rest of our crew here at the RCA Dome. Oh, wide open in the end zone area. Hit and knocked out of the 1-yard line. From this view, you could see forever and ever and ever a wide open receiver in that area down there, and that's 32 Eric Kress. Corey Richmond finally got him. Kress with 20 receptions for 316 yards out of the backfield for Heritage Hills.
Well, Cutler put some air under this one, and it's up there forever, almost like a fair catch. And look at Richmond. Ooh, boy, he just was exposed there.
So they get the first down, a 21-yard pickup for Heritage Hills. And they will have first and goal from the 1. Boy, you can see how come they can score so quickly and so often, Bob. They're always a threat every time they touch the football. Heritage Hills has set Goldsberry on the right side of the line. They've got the touchdown. On the keeper, Cutler. That is his 11th rushing touchdown of the season.
69 yards, 11 plays. Pretty methodical movement down the field that time for Heritage Hills.
So Cutler gets into the end zone. His numbers are impressive. We talked about his passing numbers at 2,150 yards on the season. He's also picked up almost 500 yards on the ground. Cutler will hold the point after from Ryan Elliott. He fumbles it, got it down, and it is blocked and is therefore unsuccessful, but they got the two-pointer earlier. Nick North, the defensive end, is the guy who got it. Timeout with 4:59 to go in the half. 21-7 Heritage Hills. You're watching LaCie Sports on the IHSAA Television Network. 21-7 is your score. There it is right now. The 3A championship game is on the line. We'll replay the touchdown for you in just a moment. Here is the kickoff. It is headed deep. It'll be taken at the 5-yard line. Across the 10, the 15, and the 20. And right at the 20-yard line, knocked down. And let's take a look at the replay again here. This is very simple. Jay Cutler just takes the football, follows the offensive line, gets himself into the end zone for the 11th rushing touchdown of the year. Here's the point after, Bob. Actually, the snap looked all right. Just a mishandle there on the
kind of a floater. We only have a couple of seconds, and obviously it broke down, but they got the two, as you said, Jerry. They got the two earlier, so the score looks legitimate. 21-7.
Yep. All right, here is Zionsville with the football again. They scored earlier on the Ryan Wagner run. And again, they take it up the middle, and there's just not much available right there. With the defensive front four of Heritage Hills, averaging 210 pounds. We talked earlier about Zionsville having the advantage weight-wise as their front five of Starkey, Knight, Cravens, Kern, and Applegate right at 251 pounds. And the front four of Heritage Hills defensively right at 210. But they have not been able to find any running room right up the middle at Zionsville.
There's the head coach, Bob Clayton, 195 and 54 in his 23 years. He was in high school at Evansville Mater Dei with Mike Gable, who coached Mater Dei to the state championship last night.
So were they impressive or what?
I don't know who their head coach was.
Wow. Back to throw. And no place to go. Richmond going to have to feel it, need it, but he takes off on the right side and may have got first down numbers. Wow. That's a good run by Richmond.
Got to be quick to get around that corner. And maybe the difference in getting around the corner was that Matt Hagedorn, number 46, was the guy trying to close on him, and that ankle's not 100%.
And we were just checking with Chris Dedary a few moments ago. They had him wrapped and ready to go back out on the field. So we'll keep an eye on number 44 or number 46 in white, Hagedorn, right there on your screen.
Trying to get to him. Got some help on the tackle from Eric Kress.
And the clock is stopped with just under 4 minutes to go here in the first half. 21-7, Heritage Hills out in front.
You're not going to keep Hagedorn on the sidelines in a game like this.
Nope. Here's the pitch back. This is Wagner. And there's just nothing available in that center of that line. Knight and Cravens and Kern trying to clear things off, but there's just not anything there. Hagedorn comes in from that linebacker position to make the stop. Hagedorn's been very impressive this year. He has 46 tackles, and 6 of those have been tackles for loss. So he's been very effective getting into the backfield and the opponent's quarterback, or running back for that matter.
Wagner right at about 50 yards rushing in the ball game so far, and got a surprising 5+ yards out of that carry. Again, he has that good build that you like to see in a running back. Built low to the ground. A lot of power in those legs. He's just a junior, 5'10", 206.
Hard to bring down. 3.5 minutes to go on the half. 21-7, Heritage Hills. Zionsville with the football, wearing the green and silver. Here's the pitch back again to Wagner. Wagner will try the left side this time, out to the 37, and Cole Seafried from the defensive back spot comes in to make the stop for Heritage Hills.
It looks like the Eagles spotted something on the tape of Heritage Hills where they could pitch it and take advantage on the end, but the linebackers and the corners have pretty good size and quickness. They're closing in a hurry on that play.
A look at the Zionsville bench. 3A state champions in 1987. They knocked off Elwood 23-7. 1996, they beat Fort Wayne Dwenger 14-7 for the 3A title. So they're trying to hang number 3 in the locker room at Zionsville High. But now they are down by a couple of touchdowns. Whistle.
Well, it looks like this might be somebody moving early for Zionsville.
The indications are procedure penalty against Zionsville. That'll set them back 5.
That's only the second penalty of the game. Both have been against Zionsville. And, you know, 15-yarders are tough to deal with, but those little 5-yarders are the ones that stop drives.
You heard the official. Ball starts that time.
You know, Jerry, you mentioned Elwood. What a great year they had this year. And got to give them credit. So many teams around the state were very competitive this year. And what a difference between the teams who are here and the teams who aren't. A lot of times came down to a final play. Ask Northwood.
Yes, with a 2-point conversion. Third down situation. They will not get the first down, but they do get close to the first down. Zionsville on third down conversions, 4 of 5 to that particular point. David Fromey in from the defensive tackle position on the defensive side of the line for Heritage Hills. And it'll be 4th down, and looks like about a yard, maybe 2 to go. Now let's see what kind of a decision will be made by Larry McWhorter, the head coach at Zionsville.
Needed 7, got 6.
And we're going to take a timeout. Zionsville will take the timeout. It's decision time with 1:49 to go here in the first half. Heritage Hills 21, Zionsville 7. We'll come back and check out that decision in just a moment. Let's see sports on the IHSAA television network. Well, if you have not been to downtown Indy in the last several years, you're in for a shock. Let's look at the canal that flows through downtown. Beautiful place to go and spend an afternoon. All kinds of entertaining things. And as Bob pointed out, every time you come here, Bob, this city gets a little bit nicer.
Absolutely. Big play here, partner.
You betcha. 4th down situation for Zionsville. 4th and about a yard. We'll call it a yard. Here's the delay give. It is now. They're not going to. Well, they may. The last little surge over the left side might have gotten the first down. Eric Kress with the football. I'll check it. Not Kress. Ransdell. And they got the first down. David Fromey was there to stop him, but too late.
Everybody was kind of looking at Wagner. Ransdell got the ball. Got a nice surge up front. That big offensive line. Helping out up there is Zach Starkey, 6'6", 335. They list him at.
Bob, doesn't to me that says something. Larry McWhorter was saying, look, we can't afford to get the football back to these guys. You can't stop them defensively. Here's the pitch back. Here's the reverse, and nowhere to go. Slama with the football is brought down about 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
And lucky to do that.
Yes, absolutely. Tim Ash, the big defensive end, number 89 for Heritage Hills, was there to wrap him up. Little trickery that did not work. Timeout again by Zionsville.
You look at this play, and I think it was designed to come back underneath. Obviously, the handoff was to the inside. No, it was to the outside.
Yeah, it was to the outside, Bob.
But then he tried to run to the inside. I don't know, usually you try to take that thing wide and get around those guys. The momentum's going the other way.
The only thing I can think of, one of the defensive players, and I couldn't catch the number for Heritage Hills, pretty well shut off that outside lane. It might have been Adam Kress of the linebacker's position out there.
It was Adam or maybe Eric from that outside.
Yeah.
But they stopped the play. The good news for Zionsville is that came on first down rather than that last play. And they got the first down on 4th and a yard. So Zionsville, I think, realizing, as you said, Jerry, this is a key point of this football game. 1:06 to go. You'd think, well, even if we turn the ball over here on 4th down, they're not going to score. That's plenty of time for Heritage Hills to score, and they know that. And that was a gutty call by Larry McWhorter. He won the title in 1996 in his first season as head coach at Zionsville.
A nice record of 52-12 in 5 years. A couple of semi-states, 2 regionals, 3 sectional victories. Now a big play on 2nd down and 11 with the clock 1:06 to play in the half. Lots of good halftime features the guys put together for you to enjoy. So stick around at halftime. Here's the pass out of the near side, incomplete. They were looking to Slama. Very well covered out there by 32 Eric Kress. And the clock now will stop with 1:01 to play.
Well, after completing his first 4 passes for 59 yards, Corey Richmond is now 0 for his last 4 with an interception. So the coverage might have gotten better. The pressure might be a little bit more, but Richmond was off to a great start. Of course, he's playing a lot of defense, too.
Yes.
So.
Yes. As you pointed out, the number of times he's had to tackle Jay Cutler. On the near sideline, the Zionsville kicking unit warming up, but they need a lot of yards before that becomes a factor. 3rd and 11. That was on their own 40-yard line. Second man through with nothing doing for Wagner. Jeff Munier, the defensive tackle, in to make the tackle. And all of a sudden, it's 4th and 11. and they did not use a whole lot of clock that time. Now a timeout will be taken by Heritage Hills. They want it back, and with this offensive prowess that they have, they can do a lot of damage in 48 seconds.
No question about that, and they'll need some big plays on defense. Will Larry McWhorter. Folks, the people of McDonald's Investments work hard to help you achieve financial independence. They're a member of the SPIC and the NYSC. McDonald's Investments sponsoring our high school broadcast today, and we appreciate all the support. Boy, it's just been a tremendous tournament so far. Jerry Baker last night, 2 outstanding games featuring a lot of talented people. And, you know, you think back years ago when they talked about having a tournament, hoped it would have some interest. We've had great crowds last night and a great crowd so far today. I think there are going to be a lot of people sticking around for football today, so we may have our biggest crowd ever for the state championships.
I can remember years ago, Bob, but when they had the early playoffs, they played them outdoors in various and sundry sites. And, well, this is about as good as it gets here. Ben Brown, number 28, is back to punt it away from his own 27-yard line. Eric Gress is standing deep. That was not him. That was Wagner who kicked that thing away this time. It's Wagner, and it's out of bounds at about the 26-27 with 39 seconds to go. So Wagner's kick out of bounds for Zionsville on the Heritage Hills 31 or 2-yard line. Well, what do they mark it down? Double check it here. Make it the 26-yard line.
About 34 yards on the punt. No return, obviously, which is a good point.
Now the question, I guess, Bob, is what at this point in time, what does Bob Clayton want to do? Does he want to just go to the locker room up 21-7, or does he want this offense, which, as we have talked about, so powerful? Does he want to try to put one more on the board here?
Well, one thing he does want to do is make a mistake and turn it over. But at the end of every practice, I remember in high school, we worked on not silly plays, but a gimmick play you might want to use sometime just for fun. Might be time to pull one of those out here just to see what happens.
See, Freak said way down to the bottom of your picture. Wideout's also the left side. This is Cutler back to throw. He's going to air things out. He's got it in the air. He's got a receiver upfield. It is intercepted at the 35-yard line. They had the receiver out there all right in good shape, Zach Goldsberry. And it is intercepted by Billy Slava.
His second interception of the day, second turnover. And again, this one might not hurt you too much. It looked like, in fairness to Cutler, he didn't quite get all of that ball when he threw it. I don't know if his hand slipped a little bit on it, but got the nose down in a hurry. And Slama playing center field back there. And, you know, this is a great tackle right here by Heritage Hills. The receiver, Zach Goldsberry, was out there, and he hung on because he had a lot of room to run.
He sure did. Not a surprise for Slama. He was tied for 13th in the state in total regular season game interceptions. He had 7, and that broke the school record coming into the championship game. Now he has 10. Add 2 more, as Bob pointed out. That's a dozen interceptions. That's a pretty impressive number, I'll tell you what. Back to throw. Receiver caught across midfield and knocked down in a hurry. Corey Richmond got the ball upfield, and Jay Cutler was right there to knock the receiver down with 22 seconds to play. There is the receiver very quickly upfield. Kyle Hall was the young man who caught the football that time, a senior, a 5'9", 158-pounder. Now they have the chains reset, 15 yards on that pass completion. Quick out to the right side. It'll stop the clock with 16 seconds to play in the half.
Well, you know, on that pass play, and it was a good solid reception to Kyle Hall, but Billy Slama was coming on the outside of him. I wonder if that was the old hook and ladder that they got shut down earlier. We may have to take another look at that later.
It's like Richmond might have just said, let's stop the clock here. They do have 1 timeout left. The Patriots have the board show. Well, that's correct. They have 2 timeouts left if they so desire. Right now, Zionsville with the football, trying to get in the scorebook again. There's a good look deep at number 6, Jay Cutler, the defensive back for Heritage Hills. Richmond back again. Richmond with nowhere to go. He had a defender all over him. Does get the pass away, and an open field tackle fails. Quickly upfield with 5, with 4. This could be the final play of the first half. It will be the final play of the first half. And Heritage Hills holds with Cole Seafrig and Jay Cutler in the area over there, and they stopped them. An impressive run that time by Wagner as they got the ball out into his hands, but he could not get into the end zone.
About a 23-yard gain, and it'll help the stats, but to no avail. Actually, Heritage Hills did a nice job the longer he ran. the clock ran out. And if he'd gotten out of bounds right there, Jerry Baker, they might have been able to try a field
Could have had
goal.
one more. That's right.
And this is a great play also by Corey Richmond, finding a guy. Nice throw back. Now watch Wagner breaks the tackle right here. But again, the defensive player held him up just long enough to allow everybody else to kind of get back into the play. Makes a nice cut there. Now if he moves to the sidelines right here, if he goes to the sidelines, he may well be able to set up another play or a field goal, but he tried to break through and maybe score. Good effort.
And who was there again? The quarterback, Jay Cutler, playing on the defensive side of the football. Kristen Airy is going to grab the coach. Let's head down to the sidelines and Kristen Airy.
Thanks, guys. Here with offensive coordinator Jim Hewlin. You had a great drive to start the game after the turnover. What's the key here in the second half?
Well, we've got to find a way to counter their speed. Right now, they've got a lot of quickness at the linebacker position, especially, and they're coming up from the secondary very quickly as well. We just have to look at some of the coverages and see what they're giving us and take advantage of what they're giving us.
All right, Coach. Best of luck to you and Coach McWhorter in the second half.
All right, thank you.
All right, Jim Hewlin is the offensive coordinator. Larry McWhorter, the head coach, spends the first half and the second half up in the box with you guys. We'll send it back to you.
Room up here. Have him come on up and just get comfortable up here. Thank you, Chris. There's your halftime score. The 3A championship is on the line. Heritage Hills on top, 21-7. You're watching LaCie Sports on the IHSAA television network.
Halftime of the Class 3A championship. Patriots over the Eagles 21-7. It's been a great year for Class 3A football. Zionsville and Heritage Class 3A championship. Patriots over the Eagles 21-7. It's been a great year for Class 3A football. Zionsville and Heritage Hills have made it to the state finals. But down at Hamilton Heights, they do things a little differently this season. At Hamilton Heights High School in Arcadia, Indiana, they did things a little differently this season. Oh, they won a lot of games, and they featured some big-time players making big-time plays. And when they scored, they went for the extra point like everybody else. And most of the time, they made it. Sometimes they went for two and made it, but not always like everybody else did. Like I said, they did things a little differently, did the Huskies. In fact, at halftime of their homecoming game, they crowned a king and a queen or king. Let's just call them teammates. Kevin Head was the king, but the queen's crown belonged to Brittany Kerfman. I mean kicker, Brittany Kerfman.
I don't know. I was just real excited. I had no idea, though. I had no idea I was going to be picked, and I don't know.
So you get to walk over and
Put the crown on.
you're standing there with another football player looking just dapper.
Yeah.
The fans liked the idea, and so did Brittany. She's quite a competitor.
Well, Coach asked me, and I thought it'd be fun, and I wanted to try it, and so I tried it, and I liked it, and I told him I wanted to try out and everything, so he let me. I'm a really competitive person. Like in all the things that I do, I'm always competitive. I always want to do the best that I can. And God has blessed me with a lot of abilities. I just want to use them to the full extent.
For Coach Steve Stern, it was a matter of finding an athlete that could get the job done.
I had approached both the boys soccer team and the girls soccer team and said, is there anyone interested? Well, Brittany didn't come to me. She did, however, when I asked her, would you be willing to try it? She said, sure. And it was mostly because our relationship had been one of trust. You know, we had been through some different things, and I had convinced her that she could do some things in the weight room that maybe hadn't been done before, especially by a female. And I think she knew that I had her best interest at heart. And we kept it a secret. You know, there were a few people that knew. After the first couple of tryouts, everybody else quit showing up. And she showed up every day with a smile, and she was coachable because she had no bad habits to correct. And from my standpoint, that made a tremendous difference because she wanted to do well. She obviously is skilled. The pressure was on us to just tell her exactly what we wanted to do, and then she could repeat it.
Brittany went through all the workouts with the rest of the guys, her teammates, and she earned their respect.
Paul was always there, when he'd always, get me ready. And, whenever I was about to kick, he's like, we never miss, you never miss. And so he always got me pumped up before I kicked.
So the timing has to be pretty good, and you worked on that all season?
Yeah.
Understand you might have had somebody on the team that you were pretty close to?
Yes, my boyfriend, Matt Hensley.
What position do you play?
Wide receiver.
Keep an eye on you, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Matt looked out for Brittany. But Matt could have used some help of his own on the field. Ouch!
They always said, let's go, you know, you can do it. They were always, like, rooting me on, and they were always supporting me. Nobody ever said anything bad or against me.
Even the opponents?
No. I don't really listen to them, but if they did say anything, I didn't hear them. So.
Anybody ever talk to you after the game? Or?
No. Like, when we go through the line and shake their hands, they're always like, good game, kicker. You did well and stuff, and good luck, and that's about it.
Brittany wore number 4 on the football field, but she wears number 20 on the soccer field.
I didn't know how I would feel about it until the first game. I was working in the concession stand, and I heard that we'd scored, and I went sprinting out to watch her kick, you know. And when she kicked, I was just like, oh, she made it. And so I didn't know how I'd feel, but I was extremely proud of her.
Brittany Kerfman is not the first or only girl kicker in Indiana, but how do you tell Mom that you want to play football?
They thought I was joking at first, but then, like, I told them I was really serious, so we had, like, meetings and stuff with the coaches. After a while, they were having fun with it, and they were, like, real proud and everything. I think I've set a mark. I think it will, what's the word, inspire people, like other girls, to try new things, you know. Maybe some other girl will try it in the next few years. I have a lot of memories that I can keep, like, for the rest of my life. It was a fun time.
Okay, I'm going to move you ahead about 15 years or so, 20 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Your daughter comes home from high school, and she says, Mom, guess what? They want me to kick for the football team. What are you going to tell her?
Go for it.
There's a little bit of a tiger in there, isn't there? I think she wanted to tackle somebody.
I'm glad that I went through what we went through this year with her. An appreciation for coaching a girl. I now have a 15-month-old daughter that I look at a whole lot differently. And no, I never thought it. But I think, too, you look at a group of kids, and not just football, but any sport, you can't judge the book by the cover. You know, how do you measure someone's character and their pride and their degree of responsibility? She gave it her best shot. She won the job, and I think you have to do that to be fair.
So be careful when you visit Hamilton Heights. They do things a little differently, but they also do it very well. Building competitors. So somebody else fire, what are you thinking?
Run the other way, or run towards the ref.
Get as far away from the tackler as possible, right? But I know, somewhere out there in your competitive spirit, you wanted to bop somebody, didn't you?
Yeah.
You would like to have a tackle.
Yeah.
Put you in a linebacker for a couple of plays or something.
Yeah.
Brittany Kerfman, a special part of Indiana high school football. And our thanks to Brittany Kerfman and the coaching staff at Hamilton Heights. We're at halftime of the Class 3 state championship. Heritage Hills leads 21-7. We're back with more on Let's See Broadcasting and the IHSA State Championship Network.
It's a good look at the crowd here at the RCA Dome. Back in the broadcast booth, here's your halftime score. Heritage Hills Patriots 21, Zionsville Eagles 7. Jerry Baker along with Bob Nagel in the booth. Bob, some first half highlights starting off with the Zionsville Eagles.
Well, Zionsville got the interception early and then capitalized 80 yards in 12 plays. Ryan Wagner over from a couple yards out for the touchdown with 4:01 to go. First quarter, things heading the Eagles' way, but Heritage Hills answered in a hurry. 3 plays, 87 yards, and it's Cole Seafrey in from 56 yards out as he just outran everybody into the end zone with the extra point by Elliott. It was 7-7. Zionsville unable to move the football, punted back to Heritage Hills, and it took just one play as Matt Hagedorn broke loose for a 60-yard jump to the end zone. 1:58 left in the first quarter, and with a 2-point conversion, it was a 15-7 score in favor of Heritage Hills. And after an interception, Heritage Hills put another score on the board as Cutler went in from a yard out for the touchdown. That came with 4:59 left to go in the first half. 21-7 is our score. And you look at those numbers, Jerry Baker. First downs about even. Rushing yards favors Heritage Hills. Passing yards about even. Total yards difference probably about that 60-yard run. Turnovers 2 for Heritage Hills. The last one didn't really mean anything. 3 mistakes for Zionsville. Again, short penalties, but no mistakes for Heritage Hills, and that's reflected in that score, 21-7.
We will come back with the second half kickoff of the 3A championship in just a moment. You're watching the state finals on LaCie Sports on the IHSAA television network. Well, there's a look at the RCA Dome. Nice crowd on hand on this Saturday afternoon. We await the arrival of the Heritage Hills Club. They are coming out now. The Patriots to the right of your screen will be out momentarily. The Zionsville Eagles will come in likewise in just a couple of moments. The specialty teams are already on the field. Here comes Heritage Hills. They're out in front 21-7. And Kristen Airy is standing by to try to get a comment from Bob Clayton. We talked about, you interviewed Ken Dilger, a tight end with the Colts. He had another NFL draftee, Bruce King, who went on to the National Football League. Down on the field right now, looks like Chris has located Bob Clayton. Let's swing down there now. Chris?
All right, thanks, Jerry. Bob, great first half for you. You fell behind 7-0, and quickly your offense kicked it into gear. What was the key?
Well, I think we just needed to settle down. We were, pressing, I think, a little bit too hard. Our quarterback was trying to press a little bit and do some things that maybe we shouldn't have been doing. I think once we got over the nervousness and stuff like that, I think our kids are settled down now. They're going to focus, hopefully, and play a better second half.
What'd you talk about in the locker room? What are the keys against Zionsville here in half number 2?
Tackling. We're missing too many tackles. We're getting hits on these guys, but we're not bringing them to the ground. We've got to tackle better.
All right. Good first half, Coach, and best of luck here in half number 2.
Thank you very much.
All right. Heritage Hills has a 21-7 halftime lead. Back up to Jerry and Bob in the booth.
It's an interesting scenario, Bob, with the coach Bob Clayton talking about his guys settling down. We tend to forget that they're 14-0, but this is a whole new scenario, some whole new surroundings, new facilities, new locker rooms, new everything. And it does take even a quality team like Heritage Hills a couple of moments to get comfortable.
And it's very exciting. You think back to the scene in the movie Hoosiers where they walked into the Butler Fieldhouse and they said, wow. Hickory!
That's right.
And a lot of the kids do that here. When you see the kids come in for their workouts and when they come in before the game and they're walking around and kicking the ball around, they're looking around and they're saying, man, I am part of Indiana high school football history. So it is tough to get the butterflies out. But I love the comments that Bob Clayton made. And there you see him talking to Ken Dilger about maybe getting back into uniform for a couple of plays.
And Ken's heading to the locker room as we speak to go get that uniform on that you're talking about.
Any number you want, Ken, go ahead. But I liked his comments, Jerry, when he said we need to play a better second half than we played in the first half. And this is the guy that's leading 21-7.
Exactly.
And he also said we have to tackle better. So as far as he's concerned, we went in the locker room. The score is even, if not behind, and you want to play with that kind of mentality because you know that Zionsville didn't get here by accident. They came through a real tough row, as everybody did, to get to the RCA Dome. And
there's a young man whose name we've called a lot in the first half, Bob, Billy Sama. He's going to have to step up also big time on both sides of the football here in the second half.
Well, what they have to do, obviously, is not panic. And yesterday we had a chance to talk with Attica's head coach at halftime, and I said, do you make any changes? And I said, no, we run the football. That's what we do, so we have to stick with it. And that's what Zionsville has to do here. They get the football to start the second half, and they've caused a couple of turnovers, so defensively they got to be building a little bit of confidence, and they've accumulated a lot of yards, and really the difference in that first half was a 60-yard run by Hagedorn. It doesn't account for any time off the clock or any kind of a drive at all. It just was a play that he broke, and it was a short yardage type of a run, but they were playing the sprint out on that particular play, and he burned them for 60 yards, and that's a good quick score. Those help.
Well, Bob and I had commented earlier that if Zionsville is to be effective, they must get the football and eat up some time on the clock and get it up and down the field. They were unable to do that. As you saw the penalty situation, the turnover situation, they've made some mistakes, but they're still very much in this football game with the captains heading out the center field here. And as Bob points out, this is merely a formality because at the start of the game, the decision was made to defer after winning the coin toss. We still have a couple of minutes to go before the second half gets underway. Handshakes all around now.
Jerry, one of the stats at halftime was very interesting. Jay Cutler, 6 out of 8 with 2 interceptions, 89 yards. Pretty solid first half. And again, the last incompletion didn't really matter, or the last interception didn't affect the game a whole lot. Corey Richmond was 4 out of his first 4, finished 6 out of 11 with 1 interception. The stat we don't see for either one of these quarterbacks, and we know it's been important, is their tackles. These two guys are out there playing defense as well, and a lot of times you'll see that at 1A or the 2A level, but at the 3A level, if somebody's playing both ways, he's an exceptional player, and that's what we've seen out of Jake Cutler, Corey Richmond. Slama's been that kind of a player in this game. He's going both ways and making big plays both ways.
Well, you talked about Cutler handling Richmond defensively and vice versa on the field this afternoon. The Zionsville will get the football to begin the second half. Bob, how important in your mind is it from a team standpoint for Zionsville to be able to do something with the football on their first possession here in the second half?
Well, very important, obviously, and they've had a couple of good drives. Their last drive in which they had to punt right before the half, and then they got the ball back. It was a 10-play drive, and they also had a 12-play drive, so they have some confidence that they can run that football and run down the field and get back on the scoreboard. They scored a touchdown here. It's 21-14, and you're right back in it, so that's obviously what they have to do. Heritage Hills will be looking to make some big plays, and they've got some guys that can do it, and we talked about the Seafried. What a great first half he had with a 56-yard touchdown, and then also made some big plays on defense. So everything going the way it should, and everybody should know about each other by this point of the season. Not many big surprises. You just have to go out and get it done.
Here's the kickoff. It'll be taken by Billy Slummer right at the 10-yard line. Across the 20, out to the 22-yard line, and that's all she wrote. The tackle made by Eric Kress on special teams, and there is Billy coming off the deck here at the RCA Dome, and the second half is underway. Zionsville able to score first in this football game after a turnover by Heritage Hills, but once Heritage Hills got the football, they showed why they could score, because they put 58 points per game on the board during the regular season. They put 21 on the board in the first half of this football game.
Interesting comment right before half, the break by the offensive coordinator saying we may have to do a little bit more influence, maybe a little more pass screen draw against this Heritage Hills club to get some big plays.
And in motion, Kyle Hall. Richmond under center. He will give it the second man through, the tailback. Over the right side, up the middle, out near the 30-yard line. Jay Cutler in to cut him down, a pickup of about 8+ yards per carry on that particular carry. And there's the guy, number 44. We've called his name a lot in the first half. Running back Ryan Wagner, only a junior, 5'10", 206, built low to the ground, and he can flat get the job done up the middle.
And watch the short, choppy steps right here in traffic. He wants to make sure that he's always got that good base under him, can push forward. Almost picked up the first down, about a yard short. This is where they passed in the first quarter in this situation.
This time another man in motion set up for Zionsville, and again the gets to the second man through. This is close to first down territory. We'll have to wait till they unstack them and see if indeed they did get the first down. And you'd get out to about the 32. That's Wagner coming off the bottom of the pile there, number 44 on your screen. And they may have to bring the chain in again. They're going to, because it's just that close to a first down. Dan Schultz.
Boy, he's got this one. It's because he didn't smooth out a wrinkle on the end of that football, partner. This is going to be a close call.
I haven't called his name yet, but number 75 for Zionsville, Scott Kern. His uncle is with the Tomwood Jaguar Volvo, Steve, general manager up there, and they're one of our sponsors for our telecast. And there you see the distance. And I want to thank all the sponsors who helped make these telecasts possible, because it's a nice cause, and it's good to see the kids get some recognition.
Well, it's going to be third down in just a little bit. We invite you folks to visit Oak and Barrel award-winning restaurant and enjoy great food and friendly service and a casual atmosphere located on Main Street in Greenwood. The Oak and Barrel is open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week.
Wagner's the tailback, Ransdell's the fullback. Let's see how they go at this time. Corey Richmond with the football. Man in motion is Kyle Hall coming near you. They give the ball again to Wagner's. Got the first down, got running room across the 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, down near the 35, across the 35 to the 33-yard line. Jay Cutler chased him down with help from Adam Beasley, and a great run that time from Ryan Wagner.
Well, that is a great call, too. Again, a short yardage situation. You got a lot of guys in the box, and if you can break it, you got some running room. And just a great effort by Jay Cutler to run the man down here. And that's good blocking at the point of attack. Good, solid running back. That's good football right there.
35 yards on the pickup that time from Wagner. And he's got Zionsville in a nice position on this opening drive to begin the second half. Football in the 35-yard line. Clock showing 10.5 minutes to go. Third quarter just getting underway. The fake pitch and the give up the middle again to Ransdell. Tim Ash stops him, but Chris gets a couple of yards. The 5'9", 195-pound senior, who has 257 yards rushing and 61 carries coming into the game, and a half a dozen touchdowns to his credit likewise.
Wagner over the 100-yard mark with that 35-yard run.
And this is what Bob and I talked about at the outset of the telecast. Can Zionsville maintain ball control and move the football up the field and still make it turn into something at the other end? Because you want to keep the ball away from Heritage Hills. They are such a prolific scoring team. Again, the man in motion is Kyle Hall. Hall comes to the bottom of your screen. Here's the fake pitch. The give to the first man through. Ransdell tries the left side. Got back to the line of scrimmage, and there he is met by Adam Kress.
Looking for him that time. Had it stacked up pretty well. Ransdell, a good solid running back. Got Heritage Hills defense coming up big. Field shortens up a little bit now. Third down and 4 coming up for the Eagles.
It does get very tight down there, Bob. You talk about inside the 20, in the hot zone, you know, in that area down there, everything gets squeezed into the proportion that it's difficult to run the patterns you want to run. And the coaches, even at the pro level, will talk about how difficult that is. Slot to the right side. Slama's in that slot out there. They'll put a man in motion this time, heading to the top of your screen. Long count. Here's the pitch back again. They've got it to Wagner. Wagner's got the hole. Wagner's got the first down inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line. And Cole Seifrig, the defensive back, is in to make the stop again.
That's a play we saw in the first half where Heritage Hills was able to close on that pitch to the near side where they pinched off on the end. That time, good pitch and a good run. You see the linebacker just held up long enough. Seifrig, a good sure tackle.
Bob, those are plays that were not working in the first half.
Might have made a little adjustment at halftime. I'm sure there's a little bit of chalk, a little bit of magic marker going up on those boards at halftime.
Hand off is to Ransdell. There's a lot of play action here. Richmond is faking the pitch on almost every play, and he is able to get a little bit of a running room situation for the Zionsville offense up the middle, something that was not available, as Bob and I talked about in the first half of this game. Good look at the Zionsville Eagles sideline. They'll come back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 8 with 8:15 to play in the third.
Second down and 8. You like the idea maybe of Richmond rolling out, looking for a slammer.
Long count. He will give again to Ryan Wagner, and Wagner's got it inside the 10. He is close to the first down marker. Jay Cutler, the defensive back, is the guy who comes in on the stop. They are really using Ryan Wagner to his fullest extent here in this long drive to begin the second half. They've had the ball now for over 4 minutes.
And a good tackle here, because if he doesn't make the tackle when he cuts back, and you'll see it right here, he plants a foot and gets to the outside. And again, there's number 6, Jay Cutler. If he didn't make that tackle, that's 6 points.
Well, Cutler's a strong young man at 6'4", 200 pounds, a senior. Zionsville 6 of 9 on third down conversions, is 3rd and 2 right now. And here's the run to the left side, and he is close to the touchdown marker. Corey Richmond with the football. They're going to mark him down right at the 1.
Gain of about 9 yards in the play for Richmond. He hasn't run the ball much, but he has 20 yards and 3 carries.
Goldsberry and Kress in on the tackle that time. It is just shy of the first down. We'll take a look at it again.
The fans from Zionsville just realized that he didn't call it a touchdown. Richmond tries to hold that ball out. Boy, he just about got inside that pylon.
He sure did, Bob.
Wow, what an effort. Again, it's where the ball is, not where you are.
Exactly. It's the 10th play of this drive to begin the second half. Richmond at quarterback. Richmond will give the ball over the left side. No running room there for Ransdell. Adam Kress, the linebacker, in to make the stop.
That play never really set up very well. There was penetration on the part of Heritage Hills up front. And you see the depth already. Boy, that's another good play by Kress. He has just been exploding through there. Adam Kress, the senior, 6'3", 220. Brings a lot of humanity with him into that gap, and all of a sudden, you're just hoping to get the handoff before he takes the mail.
61 yards on this drive accounted for by the running legs of Ryan Wagner, number 44. Let's see if he gets the football. He's set up in the tailback spot right now. He has the football. He has the touchdown uncontested. That is an impressive drive by Zionsville collectively and by Ryan Wagner individually. And that's exactly, Bob, what you and I talked about. If you're a Zionsville fan, that's what they needed to get the second half underway.
77 yards in 11 plays and ran a lot of clock off. Almost 5.5 minutes to start the second half.
Second touchdown by Wagner. Here's the point after attempt. You see number 16. That's Mark Nicolay for Zionsville. It is up and it is good. So with 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, the Patriots of Heritage Hills lead Zionsville's Eagles 21-14. Let's see sports here on the IHSAA television network. Here's that touchdown run again by Wagner. Ryan Wagner's second touchdown of the afternoon as we come back live. Here's the kickoff, sailing deep, heading into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. And the strong foot on the kickoff of Ryan Wagner will give Heritage Hills their own their football for the first time in the second half on the 20-yard line.
Ryan Wagner is a little spent there during the break after the touchdown. Catching your breath. Again, it is great conditions here inside the RCA Dome. So.
In fact, it's very comfortable. Obviously, I'm just watching Chris Denary down on the sideline. Now, you worked 2 games down there yesterday. You did not sit down the entire game. And I looked down there, and Chris is on the bench, almost all sprawled out.
And I'm only jealous, is what I could say.
Here's the pitch back. Football in the hands of Cole Seafrig, and Seafrig over the left side. Got about 4 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 6. Bobby Carnicella and Chris Stevens combined for the tackle for Zionsville. Heritage Hills with the football.
And Zionsville, Jerry, with a little momentum. Obviously a great drive, 70 yards in 11 plays. Then a kickoff into the end zone. Little things are starting to build for Zionsville, and they forced them to take the ball to 20, and that was almost a great run again by Seafrig. He only got about 4 yards, but it had the potential to be much more. They gotta get a stop here.
Cutler with the football is going to air it out. It could be intercepted. It is. It is picked off upfield defensively.
That's the quarterback, Richmond.
Richmond is going to return it to the 30. He's got a wide open run. 20, 15, 10, 5. Cuts back, knocked out of the 2-yard line. Markers down at about the 35-yard line. That could be an illegal block. But nonetheless, I believe Zionsville will have it. That's a 48-yard interception return as it is right now. I'm not sure it's going to stand, but I believe Zionsville will have the football.
Well, and again, it's a judgment call. It was Ben Brown, I believe, who was being whistled for the clip. And the only reason I mention his name, you know, the officials don't mention names, but it looked to me like a great block and timed it very well, but evidently got somebody in the back. Richmond's run will come back to about midfield. It's a third interception of the ball game against Jay Cutler, and that's again the momentum building, kind of switching from a red jersey or a white jersey in the first half now to maybe a green one, and we'll see again. I don't know if we'll get a chance to see the block on the replay, but
we'll wait for the call here from the referee. It's a big one. It's a major penalty, of course, and that really negates a terrific interception return. It'll be marked just short of midfield. Now here's the interception, Bob. Now let's see if we can find the penalty.
Well, Richmond cuts back right here, and right here he's going to take out 2 men. Well, we'll get a chance maybe in a minute.
Well, Zionsville has the football at the midfield stripe. And again over the left side, the ball carrier, of course, is 44, Ryan Wagner. Wagner is really a workhorse for this Zionsville team. He had 124 yards and 4 touchdowns in the sectional victory against Frankfort. He had 150 yards and 2 touchdowns in the sectional win against West Lafayette. He had 147 yards and 2 touchdowns in the sectional victory over Benton Central. So this is not new territory to him at all as far as the yards are concerned. Corey Richmond at quarterback. Richmond, maybe a broken play. He's got a receiver. It's caught on the far sideline. Ransdell across the 45 to the 43. Let's swing down to the sideline now. Chris Denary standing by.
Well, the key for Heritage Hills is keeping Jay Cutler under control. You heard Bob Clayton talk at halftime that Cutler was feeling the nerves. He's thrown 3 interceptions today. He had only thrown 3 interceptions coming into today's ball game. Cutler's now out playing, of course, in the secondary position. He has got to do a better job if Heritage Hills is going to hang on in this game.
the fake pitch and the give up the middle again. That is first down running for Zionsville's Eagles as they unstack it at about the 37 or 38-yard line.
Interesting numbers, Jerry Baker, when you look at Jay Cutler. He's completed every pass he's thrown today. 6 to his own guys, 3 to the opposition.
I don't think that's the way it works, Bob, but we'll see. You saw Scott Kern, the right guard, come jumping out of that offensive line for Zionsville, getting the line. Here is the give up the middle, over the right side of Austin Smith. Smith down inside the 20, down near the 15. Jay Cutler, defensive back, makes the stop for Heritage Hills. And Bob and I have talked extensively about the explosiveness of the Heritage Hills offense, and it's almost like the teams changed uniforms at halftime because now it's Zionsville exploding for a 23-yard gain.
Well, this is a young man who's in there getting some snaps. There's a timeout on the field. He's getting some snaps, and he's answering the opportunity with a couple of real good runs. We've got a break coming up. We're hooked in one. Heritage Hills by 7 on the IHSA Television Network.
4 minutes and 3 seconds of playing time remain in the third quarter. This has been a terrific job in this third quarter by the Zionsville club. Possession time, Zionsville's had the ball 21 minutes, 54 seconds to Heritage Hills 10 minutes and 3 seconds. Now Heritage Hills doesn't keep it long because they do a lot of scoring. Smith again with the football, tried the right side, bounced back, went over left guard, got himself maybe a yard or two, and Adam Kress makes the stop. Richmond is the quarterback for Zionsville. He's 7 of 12 with 1 interception, 104 yards passing. Meanwhile, Wagner with 21 carries, 123 yards. They have been the killers for Zionsville's offensive side.
Well, Wagner hasn't carried the ball now in about 4 snaps, Sherry.
He's about due then, I think, Bob. He's the deep back, and he has the football. Over the left side, bounces down to the 6-yard line, and Adam Kress makes the stop for Heritage Hills. This has been an impressive second half for Zionsville. They took the kickoff and drove it in to the end zone. Then they get the football back again on the pass interception, and now they're down within striking distance again. They trail 21-14.
On the sidelines here on the near side, they've gotten a little bit quiet, but now the Heritage Hills fans are getting into it.
Wagner again. Wagner inside the 5 to the 3.
Fumble.
And he lost the football. Did Heritage Hills get it? Zionsville says they were down, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to mark it down. Keep in mind that old axiom, the ground cannot cause the fumble. Eric Kress was the guy who was right in on top of that loose football, and it's still Zionsville's ball. That draws a reaction from the Heritage Hills fans.
And I'll tell you what, these crews aren't here by accident. They're here because they've earned their way, and they've done a nice job all weekend long. We want to congratulate Michael Fisher, Howard Knopfmeyer, Dave Senning, Michael Paulus, and James Wolf, the crew for this Class 3A championship.
Richmond barking out signals, and here on the left side again is Wagner. He's got the touchdown. Ryan Wagner's 3rd touchdown of the afternoon. Boy, this is impressive stuff by Zionsville. I had seen them play, Bob, during the regular season up on their home field. They were not particularly impressive until you realized the game was over and they had won by a sizable margin. Then you thought back on it, no one guy stood out, despite the fact that Wagner and Richmond are great players. They're just a very solid football team.
And you keep in mind that number you mentioned earlier about how Heritage Hills had not given up more than 7 points. This is a terrific performance by both these teams.
Here's the point after by Nicolay. It is up, it is good. Well, let's reset this whole scenario for you. 21-21 tie. Bob, here comes the replay again of this touchdown.
And a great run, and again, Wagner had gotten to rest for a couple of carries and then was able to put the energy into getting it into the end zone.
You made the point he hadn't carried the ball for a while, and as soon as you did, he comes out of the pack and got the touchdown.
Nice effort there at the end to hang on to that football. What you got to worry about now if you're Zionsville is that your offense has been out there for virtually the entire third quarter. There's 2:36 left to go, and save for the run by Seafrig at the interception, it's been all Zionsville here in the third quarter. So you've got to get some time off the field for a couple of your horses out there, the big guys in the trenches, and get them a little bit of rest.
Here's an interesting stat, Bob. Wagner has 23 carries for 130 yards, and he averaged 131.6 during the regular season. So he's still got a quarter and a half to go in here. Make it 135 yards.
It's also on 22 carries, and you know the workload starts to add up for Wagner as well.
Ben Brown will kick off. Interesting spot. They put it on the right hash mark for Brown to kick it off. Last time he really deep-footed that thing into the end zone. This one will go down there again. Back-to-back touchbacks for Ben Brown. Here's a look at Wagner, this young man having himself one whale of a football game.
We saw Steve Laffoon on the sideline for Heritage Hills get a little bit of attention, and tight end on that offensive unit.
Now, we talked about Heritage Hills defense. They averaged defensively, allowing during the regular season 1.8 points per game. They had 5 shutouts. No opponent scored more than 7. Now, in the playoffs, they have allowed 7.8 per game. And at Whiteland, they gave up 22, but they won 32-22. And now they are tied at 21. Back to throw is Cutler. Cutler bounced it into the receiver. Incomplete pass.
Well, hats off to Bob Clayton for letting his guy go back and throw that football. He's not going to back away from what's gotten them to this point. They are a very prolific offensive team, and he believes in his guy, and he showed him that by calling a pass play. You know, Cutler at 6'4", 200 pounds is an impressive athlete out there. He ran the ball into the end zone earlier in the game, and at 6'4", 200, you'd almost think they got to have him carry the ball a few times.
Well, they're taking a timeout. I believe Heritage Hills called the timeout. They did. And they have just one timeout left now in the second half of this game. With 2:31 to play, 21-21 tie. If you walked away to the refrigerator at halftime or late getting back, a lot has happened, and it's all been good for the folks at Zionsville.
Dr. James Haynes and Dr. Shannon Pierce of Zionsville Eye Care proudly served the Zionsville area since 1980 with a professional and personal touch. Call them at 873-3000 for an appointment. Eye Care for Eagle's Eyes, located at 1375 Parkway Drive in Zionsville. You know Dr. Haynes and Dr. Pierce are home waving their banners
for
the Zionsville Eagles this afternoon. Boy, just love the fever and the spirit of the day here. It's been fantastic.
Had a good look at Jay Cutler a couple of moments ago, the quarterback for Heritage Hills. He was third in the state in passing average per regular season game. In 9 games, 1,408 yards. That's an average of 156.4 yards per game. 22 touchdowns. That was all in regular season play. Cutler coming into the game today, over 2,000 yards passing, 2,150 yards.
Well, you got to believe they're going to try to get the ball into the hands of Cole Seifried. He had 1 carry for 56 yards in the first half. Caught a pass for 25. He's a big play guy.
Here's the pass out on the flat to the left side. Not much running room out there for Cole Seifried. Stopped by Ben Brown. They set up wideouts that time with Zach Goldsberry also set to the bottom of your screen. Seifried, number 7, is the backup quarterback to Jay Cutler, so they know each other's position very well.
And he's been known to throw that football.
Absolutely. As well. Got to be aware of him. He has thrown the ball 4 times this year, has Seifried. 2 minutes exactly to play here in the third quarter. Tie football game at 21. 3A championship on the line. Cutler over the middle. Almost intercepted again. Billy Slama was the guy in the area. At that time, the intended receiver, badly overthrown by Jay Cutler.
And with 1:45 to go in the third quarter, that is the first pass that Cutler has thrown today that has not been caught.
By somebody, huh?
7 have been caught by his own guys, and 3 have been interception. This one a little bit short.
Now, Bob, here's what's going to happen. Heritage Hills will punt it away. Elliott averages about 39 yards per punt. Well, that's not him back there, though. That is Lamar. Well, check it out. It's not Lamar. It's Ryan McManaway back to punt. They had listed Ryan Elliott as the punter. McManaway will get it away. Angling toward the far sideline. Hits just across the 50. Picked up and knocked down at the 43-yard line.
Good catch on that punt downfield.
Taken down there by Nathan Slavens.
Boy, that probably saved about 20 yards of roll. That ball had an end-over-end roll to it.
And stay right here for the final minute 35 of this third quarter, and the action has really picked up. Nice field position again for Zionsville. They've touched it twice. They've scored twice in the second half.
And momentum clearly now wearing the green jersey, and it's up to Heritage Hills as somebody step up and make a play.
Heritage Hills defensively stacks the front side. He'll go over the left side with the football this time as Chris Ransdell again. And Ransdell gets about 5 yards on the play, and Adam Kress makes the stop. Looking here at the total offense, second half total offense for Heritage Hills, Bob, is only 7 yards compared to Zionsville's 128.
And they've had 5 plays. One of them's been an interception. Longest play they've had is a 4-yard run, the first play of the second half.
Richmond gets him up to the line. There's a look at the defensive unit for Zionsville. They have, as Bob pointed out, very accurately spent a lot of time on the bench. There's the fake on the belly series, and the give again to Ryan Wagner. Wagner short of the 50-yard line. Jeff Munier, the defensive tackle with 55 tackles coming into this championship game, is the guy who makes the stop.
Yeah, we may have time for one more play here in the third quarter, and seeing a player on the sidelines there that looks like Chris Ransdell, who is getting a little stretch there on the hamstring.
Big 3rd down and 3 situation for Zionsville. Going left or right on your screen, they give the ball to Wagner. He will not get enough running room for the first down. Shy by about a yard, Brandon Knight.
Well, we won't expect the coach to call a timeout here because of the wind direction.
No, I wouldn't think so, Bob. If he does, he wasn't paying attention. That's going to be the final play, I believe, of the third quarter. And what a great third quarter it was. Zionsville trailing at halftime, 21-7, scores back-to-back in the second half, and they have tied the game at 21. The Eagles and the Patriots tied at 21 for the 3A title. Let's see sports broadcasting here on the IHSAA Television Network. There's your fourth quarter scores. We begin the fourth quarter, and the Eagle mascot of Zionsville with reason to be excited because the Zionsville Eagles scored 14 points in that third quarter and have tied the game at 21. They have the football. They run the belly series. Richmond will keep the football, get running room, get the first down. Across the 35, near the 30-yard line. Well, he's doing it all right now, he and Wagner.
What a big play. There's a man down back at about midfield. And we'll check on who the injured player is. But I tell you what, when he took to this ball to the outside, you almost were going to say, hey, turn it upfield, son, get that first down. Right here, you think go upfield. And he says, no, I think I can get more than that. Goes around the outstretched arms. Very Kress gets down the sidelines and turns it into about an 18, 20-yard gain.
Yeah, 19 as a matter of fact, Bob. We're going to wait for the proper identification of the player that's down on the field. We're going to misidentify him, give anybody a fright.
Number 74 is
That's Applegate. Greg Applegate.
Big fella, 6'3", 265. Member of the all Bob Nagel team.
Fourth quarter is just underway. Jerry Baker along with Bob Nagel, Chris Denary patrolling the sideline. And Zionsville on a drive, trying to take the lead for the second time in the game. They led 7-0 early on. Wagner again. Wagner just bullies his way for a couple of yards down to the 28-yard line.
And don't you think Wagner and Zionsville would love to take about another 4 minutes off the clock here?
Oh, yes.
Then you might be 1 or 2 stops away from being in control of your own destiny. So it's a big series here for Zionsville. Obviously, also big for Heritage Hills. And again, they have so many heroes on both sides of the field. And one of them is Cole Siegfried. And we told you we'd look at his line all during the game. He had 5 interceptions this season, so certainly capable of doing some damage back there.
Richmond with twin setbacks. Wideouts both ways. Back to throw. Richmond trying to get some numbers on the near side to Kyle Hall. It's incomplete.
Great effort.
Nice coverage there by Zach Goldsberry. There's a good look at number 3, Kyle Hall, a senior, a 5'9", 158-pounder. And it'll stop the clock with 10:51 to go in this game.
Fade route. Again, the defensive back is reading the receiver, and when he turns his head, he turns and looks and just got a hand on the ball. That's good defense.
Third down and 8. High formation again. Wagner with the football. Wagner close to first down territory. Wagner's got the first down. Well, this young man has just put in a terrific game. Junior again from the defensive tackle position to make the stop when they've needed the yardage, Bob, here in the second half. In contrast to the first half when they had nothing going up the middle, he's been able to get the yardage.
And Jerry, I'm very impressed with the fact that Zionsville has gotten so many third down conversions running the football, usually on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, that type of thing. You look to throw the football or maybe use some kind of a screen or draw, but they're running that football.
Wagner again. That's the 30th carry of the game. He's over 150 yards in rushing. Is Wagner. Adam Kress is the defensive stopper that time. Two things happening here, Bob, and you pointed it out very accurately a few minutes ago. A, Zionsville moving the football. B, they're doing it and using an awful lot of that clock up there.
Down to about the 10-minute mark. Kristen Airy is on the field with an update, Chris.
Bob, one of the things I'm noticing down here on the field, Zionsville's offensive line is manhandling Heritage Hills. They've got 5 to 6 yards of running room for Wagner before he's ever greeted by one of Heritage Hills' linebackers. So give a lot of credit right now to Zionsville's offensive line. They have dominated the second half.
Chris, that's a very good observation. And earlier in the telecast, I pointed out there is a 41-pound per man advantage. Zionsville's offensive line versus the front four of Heritage Hills. Early on in the game, it wasn't a factor. I think you're right on the money. Right now, it's a big deal. 3rd down and 3. They did not get the first down. And now a big decision to be made by Zionsville's head coach, Larry McWhorter.
And he has a chance to take the lead. He turned around and said field goal. And this one will wind up being about a 28, 29-yard field goal attempt. And as the clock winds down under 9 minutes here, I think we may have a chance for Zionsville to take the lead.
Mark Nicolay is the guy who will kick this thing, Bob, and he's put his mark down right at the 18-yard line. So we're talking a 28-yard field goal out of the hold of Matt Fritz. This is big. He missed it.
He yanked it.
Wide left. It had the distance, it had the height, it did not have the accuracy.
Well, momentum slips back into a neutral color right now. The Heritage Hills squad now can get a drive together, move down the field, have a chance to take the lead.
Let's take a look at this again. This is really close. Watch the right upright to the right of your screen. Boy, he just missed that thing.
Wow.
Now we'll have to see what it does emotionally to that club right there, the Zionsville Eagles, because they were really on a roll. They have been very, very impressive. Heritage Hills will get it. We're talking about the size of lines. Their offensive line, Fromey, Metters, Beasley, and Kress at 214 pounds per man as compared to the defensive front four of Zionsville at 189.3. Penalty marker is down. Runner over the right side is Cutler. And Cutler will get the first down, but there is a penalty marker down.
I think we're looking at a procedure penalty. I don't think they had enough guys on the line of scrimmage. They had a trips formation left, had a flanker to the right, and illegal procedure is the call. I think they had a little miscommunication, Jerry, about who was on the line and who was back off of it.
That will negate about an 11 or 12-yard run and would have been a first down and a very important one. You see the order back, Jay Cutler over talking with Bob Clayton.
That could have been a play designed at halftime. Say, okay, let's do this. If they're going to leave us open in the middle, put trips left, put a wide receiver to the right, and make maybe an adjustment on a play you run all season, but you don't make the adjustment with who's on and who's off the line. Right. And it's a tough situation because the play was there. It was going to be a good gain for Cutler on first down, and he is a very impressive runner.
So Cutler will bring him back to the line of scrimmage. There's a look at the sideline of the young man, Ryan Wagner, who's had a terrific football game, especially so here in the second half. 8:18 to play, fourth quarter, tie football game at 21. Richmond back to throw. They set up the screen or make it to Cutler back to throw. They set the screen. They get maybe 3 or 4 yards off of that screen play, and that's it.
Great tackle inside by Scott Martin, the junior, 6 foot 180. And as Siegfried caught the ball in traffic, that's kind of the old rocket screen. Notre Dame used to run that with Rocket Ishmael, where they come underneath. And watch Siegfried. If he gets loose, and I mean he was a step away, and watch number 41 come in there and just got enough. Richmond was there as well.
They had it set up well. It just didn't develop.
Scott Martin, nice tackle.
Second down and 12. Cutler with time. And it throws a wounded duck up there, and it is caught. The reception made by Eric Kress. And good for about 7 yards, but it's still going to be a third and long situation. Nate Slavens, Bobby Carnicella, the guys in the area over there defensively.
Well, we saw a couple of these yesterday in that game with Mater Dei against Lures. Every time one was batted up in the air, it seemed to come down in the hands of the receiver. Nelson Smith is the guy who got in there with the rush. They sent people after.
Big third down. Big third down.
They sent him after Cutler last time. Let's see, Jerry, I don't know. Do you play this one straight up? You've got a lot of field behind you. You don't want to risk it early.
Trips to the right side. Doubles to the left side, and penalty markers before anything can happen. And the play clock may have run out. It could be a delay of game. We'll wait and see.
Preliminary indications of illegal procedure, and again they went with the trips formation opposite side, and looks like they didn't get lined up correctly or somebody moved early.
All right, we are told that the indications are maybe somebody on that line, the left tackle over there, may have moved before the snap of the football. Heritage Hills with only 14 total yards in the second half versus Zionsville's 170. For the game, it's 358 for Zionsville and 250 for Heritage Hills. That is totally unexpected.
Big play in this football game right here with 6:22 left.
He kept 3 guys in to defend. He'll get the pass away. It is intercepted, I believe, by Zionsville. No indication officially. Yes, it is. Picked off by Zionsville, or did he say incomplete? Now the other official comes in and says, no, it touched the ground. Nathan Slavens was the guy in the area. Nate Slavens is the guy who looked to make the intercept, but the other official came in charging, saying, nope, it touched the ground.
Well, let's take a look. I don't know if we can see on the replay whether it touched the ground or not.
Billy Schwammen, number 10, again did a terrific job, Bob. Here we go. Now you did.
That ball's on the ground.
Yep, good call. Officiating crew doing an excellent job here this afternoon. Clock will stop with 6:10 to play in the fourth quarter. Tie football game at 21. The 3A title is on the line.
That's a big incompletion. That would have been a costly fourth turnover.
Now Heritage Hills will boot it away. It took a while and was almost blocked.
And there's a flag.
Going to be roughing the kicker.
Well, again, the one thing you can't risk is giving them another set of downs, and this is going to be roughing the kicker, not running into the kicker, and this one will lead to a first down.
Ryan McManaway is the punter, and that is a monster play.
Officials talking about it out at midfield. Let's listen in when we get a chance to our referee. They're talking to Heritage Hills, and again we'll look at the replay. And what you got to do here is you got to cross in front of the punter, because that way if you get the block you do, but otherwise you're going to run into the kicker. 15 yards is a penalty and a first down for Heritage Hills. And Barry Baker, we talked about how it was a big play for both teams, and right now advantage Heritage Hills.
Well, that is a big play, Bob, and if Heritage Hills ends up winning that game, we'll look back and say that was a monster decision situation there. 6:01 to go. Now they wind the clock. We're halfway through this fourth quarter. So Zionsville thought they had the pass intercept a few moments ago. It went against them. And then the roughing the kicker penalty gives Heritage Hills the football. The keep by Cutler. Cutler cuts it back up. He's close to first down. He will get the first down. This time Jay Cutler, who has 477 yards rushing coming into this game on 59 carries up to this 15th game of the year. He has 1 touchdown on the ground here this afternoon, and it's a first down. Now time becomes a major element against Zionsville and for Heritage Hills.
Well, the good news for Zionsville is the defense didn't play much in the third quarter. They should be pretty fresh.
Well, that's a nice job of running by Cutler. 3 or 4 guys had their hands on his jersey, Bob, and couldn't bring him down.
Well, again, at 6'4", 200 pounds, that's a big, big fella. Such a threat to throw the ball. You got to play him honest. He turns it up the field. He's going to have 10 yards and about 3 strides.
Cutler on the pitch back to Kress. Kress gets a couple out to the 47-yard line. Scott, Martin, Aaron Davis, the stoppers that time.
Gain of about 2. Well, I'll tell you what, everybody who we've talked about, Adam Kress, Cole Siegfried, Jake Cutler for Heritage Hills, Corey Richmond, Billy Slamma, Ryan Wagner, Chris Stevens have all come up big today for their respective teams. You want your best players to play their best football in this game, and both teams have gotten a great performance. A lot to be proud of.
Heritage Hills in the finals for the first time, their first semi-state championship this year. Cutler, nowhere to go this time. He'll lose a couple of yards. Mark Shorts, who has 4 tackles for loss coming into the game, comes in to make that tackle for loss and moves it back now. It'll be about 11 yards to go for the first down on 3rd down.
Mark Shorts, 5'11", 188. A lot of quickness. Got rid of his blocker. Boy, you wonder why coaches have drills like that. Shed your blocker, get to the ball carrier. That's just textbook right there again.
That's exactly the phrase I was going to use, Bob. Textbook is exactly right. Clock still running, down to 3 minutes and 50 seconds to play. Tie football game at 21. Cutler throws it. The receiver went one way and his pass went the other. He was trying to get the ball to Cole Siegfried. Mark Shorts, the defender in the area, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback again. That's 4th down and 11. Chris, back to you on the sideline, my friend.
All right, guys. In Class 3A, we have never had an overtime game. In the history of the state championship here in Indiana, we've had 2 overtime games. 1977, Plymouth in 2A in 2 overtimes beat Jasper 21-14. And then in 5A in 1986, Jim Belden and the Carmel Greyhounds beat Fort Wayne Snyder 20-17. Could we have overtime number 3 and the first in 3A history? We'll see.
Well, the big punt now by Ryan McManaway. The snap aside, McManaway pulls it in, gets the punt away. There was nobody back deep for Zionsville. It takes a Heritage Hills bounce inside the 20, touched and knocked out just across the 20-yard line. So those punted down right in that area. 3:25 to go in the football game. Tied at 21. You're watching LaCie Sports on the IHSAA television network. Well, the possession time still is a major factor. 14.5 minutes for Zionsville, 7:17 for Heritage Hills. Now the scenario, 3 minutes and 25 seconds to play. 4th quarter tied at 21. 3A title on the line. Zionsville with the football. Wagner with it. Wagner over the right side. Wagner across the 30, near the first down marker. Harry Kress, the tackler on the play. Now what Zionsville would love to do, Bob, and you referred to this a few minutes ago, just wind this thing down, use as much of the clock as they can.
Well, they had a chance last possession to get down and try a field goal. It didn't work. And now you've got plenty of time. The clock is running. It's down to 3:15. Well, there's a timeout been called.
Taken, and I'm not sure who called it. I think they're going to bring the chains in from the far side and measure this thing. It's that close. I think it's a little short by maybe a foot.
Wasn't the best spot in the world. It looked like he had plenty for
I agree.
the
I thought so
down.
earlier. Yes, I wasn't paying much attention to it. Here's a good look at the chain. Yeah, it's just inches.
Yep. So it'll be 2nd down and short. And again, during the course of this ball game, this is where we've seen Zionsville throw the ball, and on 3rd down and long, we've seen them run the ball and be successful. So they've had some different looks.
Yes.
And I tell you what, your hats are off to these two teams. Done a nice job. Zionsville, again, 9 straight wins after starting the season 2-3. Boy, you got to believe in your program and yourself to get that done.
Bob and I, during the commercial break, watching Ben Jones on the sideline get that kicking leg warmed up in case they need him for some kind of a punting situation, field goal situation. There's the first down across the 35, across the 40, almost at the 45-yard line before Jay Cutler could drag him down to the turf here at the RCA Dome.
And it looks like Heritage Hills going a little bit high in their tackling, maybe trying to knock that ball loose. You see Siegfried trying to maybe wiggle that ball away, but tough to get it away. That's a good run out to the 45. And now, Jerry, obviously they'd like to score a touchdown, but they're probably about 40 yards away from being in field goal position.
15-yard pickup that time for Wagner. Wagner's got it again. Tries from the left side. Gets a good block. Gets across the 45, across the 40, down to the 39. And again, it's Cutler in the area to make the defensive stop.
Well, you get 15 yards at a crack. That's all you need.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, the most points, we talked about the fact this year, Tell City scored 7 points against Heritage Hills. Southridge, 6. North Posey, 3. And South Spencer, 6. Other than that, nobody has scored more than 22. Whiteland got 22 last week in the regional and still lost by 10. Wagner, 194 yards rushing. He's got it again. He will get maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. Bob, I'm always amazed. He hits the line. You get ready to put him down for a 1-yard mark, and he falls forward and gets a couple of 3 more.
Keeps that good balance, keeps leaning forward, reminds you a little bit of a Larry Zonka type runner.
Yes, exactly.
Sticks his nose in there with a good balance forward.
Munier on the stop. 2 minutes to play in this game.
Getting ever closer to that 200-yard mark and rushing in this ball game. And now
a timeout. It's an equipment situation. I just noticed Jeff Munier showing the official his helmet problem. That's what they're going to work on the near sideline here. So it's an equipment situation. There's the Zionsville crew. Let's head down to the sidelines again with Chris Denary.
Thank you very much, Bake. Mark Nicolette is on the sideline warming up for Zionsville. He's a freshman kicker, 42 extra points this year and 4 field goals. He missed the field goal that would have given Zionsville the lead. A lot could be riding on the young freshman if Zionsville can get into field goal range.
Well, Nicolette could be a major player in this game. Here's the belly series again. Ball is kept this time by Richmond. Richmond rolls right side down to the 32-yard line, and the clock continues to wind down to 1.5 minutes to go.
Kind of a risky play that time,
yes.
Pitching the ball, and of course when you're pitching it to that guy, Ryan Wagner, pretty good. You're in pretty good hands there.
33 carries for 196 yards prior to that particular rush. And with 1:15 to play, the clock continues to run. Well, you just got to wonder, Bob, how close do they feel they have to get this football before Nicolette can try the field goal?
Well,
I think they need another 20, 25 yards, don't you?
Absolutely, and this is to the 4-down territory. They'll take 2 plays to get this if they need to, but I think he's got the first down there.
Wagner will get the first down as he bullies his way over the 30 down to the 29-yard line. That will stop the clock with 49 seconds to play. They'll move the chains forward. Adam Kress, the stopper that time for Heritage Hills. Unbeaten in 14 games this year. It's a first down. In fact, Heritage Hills in 1 game this season scored 90 points. They beat Pike Central 90-0.
Wow. Well, there's the freshman kicker, Nicolette. We'll see if he gets a chance to do it. We also saw they had Ben Jones warming up. The big thing here is, Jerry, you're running low on time.
Yes.
You got to pick up another 10, 15 yards.
They'll try Wagner again. Why not? It's been successful all afternoon long. He gets it across the 25 to the 24, and Matt Hagedorn will make the stop. A quick timeout. Zionsville did a good job of hanging on to their timeouts, so that is the first of the 3 they are allotted here in the second half. 25 seconds to go. Stick around. We're tied at 21. You're watching LaCie Sports on the IHSAA Television Network. Well, we're going to have Chris Denary hanging real close to number 16 on that Zionsville sideline, Mark Nicolette, because his foot could become a major player in this issue. Split wide at the bottom of your screen, Kyle Hall. Wagner again. Wagner inside the 20. Wagner for the first down. That will stop the clock. They'll move the chains with 19 seconds to go. David Fromey, the defensive tackle, stops for Heritage Hills.
Well, the good news for Zionsville, in addition to the chance to win the game, is that there's not going to be any clock left for Heritage Hills. And that, obviously, with this drive starting with 3:25 left, was one of their considerations.
Well, you just look at the numbers that Zionsville has put up this afternoon with Wagner. And, Bob, we were talking, you and I, he's getting close to the state rushing record for 3A championship game.
Mike Bowen of Roncalli had 247 yards in the 93 win over Northwood. And ironically, Northwood has played a part in the drive to the championship here for Zionsville. And you wonder, Jerry, that overtime situation last week with Northwood, Zionsville very confident here. Even if they don't score, they've had that experience. Well,
Wagner scored the touchdown in overtime last week against Northwood. He rushed 23 times for 80 yards in that game. He's had a remarkable game today. They'll stretch the chains out. Is it up for the first down? I believe it is. It is. First down. That becomes less important than the just pure distance itself, because the closer they get, the better the chances for Mark Nicolay to probably put that, to perhaps put that first blemish on the Heritage Hills record this year. This is a terrific Heritage Hills team, Bob, that has been taken out of its game plan in the second half.
Really has, and you think maybe there were some adjustments that Zionsville wanted to make at halftime, but didn't want to make in the first half, and it might have cost them a touchdown late in the first half for that 21-7 lead. But you don't give away what you're going to do as far as adjustments till halftime, and they came out. They made adjustments in the third quarter. They totally dominated. Heritage Hills had the one drive here in the fourth quarter that took some time and made up some distance, but they ended up having to punt the football.
Didn't Chris Dennery tell us at halftime that Larry McWhorter spends his coaching time in the booth up here, so he's had a good look at the field from a perspective up here. Not that Heritage Hills doesn't have assistant coaches up here also, but Larry spends the coaching job, head coaching job time up here.
Well, he would certainly like to be down there encouraging his kicker.
Right now he would.
But that's the way he runs his system.
Well, here's the look ahead, Bob. We got some good stuff coming up here. Plainfield, East Noble, and then, of course, Penn and Center Grove. Those are the Class 4A and 5A championship games. And about the time we get a chance to relax for a moment, it'll be time to go back. This Plainfield team, I have not seen them play, but I have been told they are something else. And East Noble is obviously a great team, or they wouldn't be here. Here we go. 19 seconds to play. Wagner, right side. Wagner, 16-yard line.
And that may be it. Did he have one timeout left? They're going to let it run down to about 3.
Junior on the stop. That's exactly what they're going to do, Bob. And they will take the timeout with 5 to play. Well, here we go, boys and girls. This is the big one, and there is the man of the moment. That's Mark Nicolay. He's only a freshman, 6-footer, 165 pounds. And the last thing he needs right now is company, but he's got it with Kyle Hall coming over. There's Corey Richmond, the quarterback. And, of course, about all you can do right now, if you're the coaches or players, is just kind of sit back and watch. And if you're a Zionsville fan, root. If you're a Heritage Hills fan, you root the other way, Bob.
No question about it. And Chris Dennery has some help for us on the sidelines, Chris.
All right, we're down here on the field. What's interesting here for a right-footed kicker, and let's make sure he's a right-footed kicker, the ball is on the right hash mark. So the ball is on the wide right hash mark as the freshman kicker comes out. If you can see him, he's going to march off his distance from the ball. And he's going to try to hook this thing in, and it looks like he's going to put the ball down at about the 24-yard line. He's a right-footed kicker. Jerry and Bob, most right-footed kickers want it on the left hash mark.
It almost appears that that's where they wanted to. That's the side they ran to. Here's your game winner or overtime football kick right here. Nicolay is not even close. Way short, just barely got to the back edge of the end zone with 1 second to play.
Well, that 1 second could be very dangerous. Again, Nicolay was glad to have the chance. He missed with 8:40 to go. This one, he just got the bottom half of the ball. And I think he was trying to make sure that he got the ball up quickly so it wasn't blocked and had a chance to be returned. But he got just the bottom, probably the bottom fifth of the ball and got way underneath. Had a lot of spin on Jerry. Looked like a sand wedge the way this thing bit in the end zone.
It did not have a chance. It was way short.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Cole Siegfried. He has been a big play man all year for Heritage Hills. I got to believe that Jay Cutler and Cole Siegfried are going to get a chance to team up here.
Cole Siegfried was 19th in the state in scoring average per game. He averaged 14 points per game. Yep, they're just going to take the snap, and we're going to go to overtime. We'll explain that all to you in just a moment. Overtime with Heritage Hills and Zionsville. Let's see sports on the IHSAA television network. Is right now filled with electricity because we're going to see our first AAA overtime game of the year. We're tied at 21. Keep in mind that at halftime it was 21-7 in favor of Heritage Hills. Their explosive offense completely shut down in the second half, and through some great quarterbacking work of Corey Richmond and some great running of Ryan Wagner, Zionsville right back into this game. Bob, now it becomes a cat and mouse game again, because we're going to toss the coin to see who gets the football first in the overtime session.
Well, Mark Nicolay, you see him on the sideline there, is a factor in this game now because of your Zionsville. You probably feel like you got to score a touchdown. You may not want to put him back in that situation to win it with a kick, maybe to tie it with a kick, but there's Heritage Hills. They know they got off the hook there at the end of the game. Twice Zionsville drove down, had a chance to win it. Again, this would be the second straight overtime game for Zionsville. They won in overtime against Northwood, and I know Rich Dotson and the Northwood Panthers went for it for the 2-point conversion, didn't get it, and it was a great defensive play by Zionsville. And there you see Heritage Hills, their head coach Bob Clayton, 195 times he's won, 54 losses in 23 years. So he's been in this situation before, and he knows what he's doing. And he's got his team right now getting totally focused on what they need to get done.
Numbers we have on Ryan Wagner, the outstanding junior for Zionsville. 38 carries, 217 yards. Let's bring back down to the sideline again before this overtime coin toss. Let's go to Kristen Hill.
Thanks, Jerry and Bob. I was outside the Heritage Hills huddle as Bob Clayton had them around the bench. He has to feel very good about where his team is because they were thoroughly dominated in the second half. He was really trying to build his team back up, especially quarterback Jay Cutler really struggled in the second half. But if you're Heritage Hills, you have to feel very good. If you're Zionsville, you've been in this type of situation before. Larry McWhirter's team, as you guys mentioned, won last week in overtime, 21-20 over Northwood. The key for Heritage Hills here would be they've not been in this situation many times this year. They've won most of their games by blowouts. They've never been in an overtime situation. It will be interesting to see how both teams react here in the overtime. Back to you guys in the box.
All right, Chris, let's see if we can pick up what's happening on the field out here. The referee explaining the options to both sides. He'll toss the coin, much like the start of the game. The team that calls the coin toss correctly will have the option of either taking the football or opting to go on defense first. And that's the reason it takes a while. They want to make this very clear to these young men. As Chris pointed out, Heritage Hills has not been in the situation this year. They won their games by an average of 55.5 points.
You know, the coin toss might be moot here simply because if Heritage Hills wins the toss, they may want the ball because they're so explosive offensively. Zionsville may well want to go on defense first. So the choice belongs to Heritage Hills. And they're asking which end zone they want to go to. And of course, that's a moot point too in this facility.
In this facility, it makes no difference. The Heritage Hills fans are down to the right, so they might opt to want to go that direction to keep their fans directly in front of them. We'll wait for the call. Heritage, it's just a slow process. Heritage Hills won the toss, as Bob pointed out. They have opted to decline. Zionsville will get the football first time in the overtime.
Well, Heritage Hills definitely wanted to go on defense.
Yep, they did.
And that's kind of what most coaches will tell you, that we like to go on defense, because that way if the other team makes a turnover or if they don't get in or they miss their field goal attempt or whatever, all you got to do is kick a field goal and you can win the football game. So that's usually the choice, and so Heritage Hills took advantage of that.
They will march to the west end of the RCA Dome. That's to our left, as we said in the press box here, which is where they're headed right now.
Remind you that we'll be back with you at 3:30 with the Class 4A state championship. 7 o'clock tonight, the Class 5A state championship. So you're going to have a little bit of Sammy time in between there.
We're not going to have much. I guess our sandwich time is going to be short, is it not?
Yeah, where's that turkey sandwich you offered earlier in the day?
This is the third overtime since the tournament began, the first ever in Class 3A. The last was in the 1986-87 season when Carmel was the winner over Snyder, 20-17.
Jerry, we should explain to folks that each team will get the ball on the 10-yard line, and you've got a series of downs to get it in the end zone if you can. And of course, The other team will have the ball after your attempt.
I got a feeling Mr. Wagner may come into play again here. In fact, he has the football, and he is hit and driven back in a hurry. That is number 54, Jeff Jr., who caught him going over the right side. Adam Kress was also in the neighborhood. Terrific defensive stop that time by Jeff Jr.
Boy, he hit him a pop. I don't think there was any surprise in who was going to get the football there. And Jr. just teed off on him.
Wagner, 217 yards carrying, rushing, going 38 carries through the regular playing period here.
Got a pretty good spot, just a loss of 2.
Quarterback hangs on to the football. Adam Beasley in to stop that particular play. That looked like Richmond wanted to think about pulling it out or handing it off, and he couldn't quite make the decision there.
Well, the defense went for the quarterback instead of the running back.
Yeah. Watch it again. There's right in here. It's not, well, I'll keep it. You saw him. He started to hand the football off to number 32, Chris Ransdell, and then pulled it back. 3rd down.
Kyle Hall is in there with the play, and I got to believe that somewhere in a play like this, a 3rd down and 10, 3rd down and 11, I like to name Billy Slammer to come into play.
Yes, so do I. Slammer should be set out to the right side. Here's the fake, play action. They set it up on the near side. They've got it to Wagner again, and Wagner inside the 10 to the 8-yard line, and it's 4th down. Zach Goldsberry, we've called his name both offensively and defensively today for Heritage Hills, makes the tackle.
Ball's going to be marked at the 7. It'll be a 25-yard field goal attempt if they want to go for the field goal. And again, we said that the kicking situation may affect the decision they make here. And they are going to come out with their field goal team.
Well, you pointed out last time, now Nicolay has 4 field goals on the season. Your observation was right on. Bob, I don't think he got much of that football, or he didn't catch it where he wanted it because it was not even close.
And if I'm Heritage Hills here, I'm thinking, boy, he's missed twice in this 4th quarter, and now in the overtime, he's got another shot. But I'm thinking, watch the fake. I may not try to block this kick. I'm more concerned about the fake here. I can live with the 3 points.
It'll be a 25-yarder. It's down. It is up this time. Plenty of foot, and it is good. So Nicolay redeems himself a couple of minutes too late. But here's the situation now. Now Heritage Hills will get the football again, as Bob pointed out, on the 10-yard line. Same scenario. If they score a touchdown, they win. If they score a field goal, they tie. Here it is, Bob. Good-looking kick here.
And if we tie, we'll just keep going. That's the best kick he's had, obviously, out of the 3. And boy, you get to the point, first time you're nervous, second time you're upset, third time you got to make it. And he did that time. Nice job. And now, one of the things that plays into this situation, 3 turnovers in this ball game, 3 interceptions for Zionsville. We talked about their turnover ratio, 39-9 coming in. Best way for them to win this football game is exactly with that type of a play. And there it is.
If Zionsville's got it, the game is over. We'll wait and see. Cutler's in the area. Will they unstack him here? If Heritage Hills gets it back, they keep the football. If Zionsville has it, game over. Indications are Heritage Hills somehow came out of there with it. A big break for the Patriots.
People are going to think we're doing this on tape delay, Jerry, but that number is awful big. Oh, that ball is loose.
And it looks like it was Cutler who got down there and dug it out. So Jay Cutler, the 6'4", 200-pound senior, has had a terrific day today. But he's had a tough second half because Zionsville's defense has done a marvelous job of shutting down a high-powered offense. 4 players wide to the top of your screen, right out to the left side. They throw it out on the flat. That is a lateral. It is caught out there by Seafried. They come back the other way. This could be a touchdown. It is, and Heritage Hills wins. Bob, that's the play you talked about. We talked about earlier. Right there.
Unbelievable execution. And boy, Zionsville just dejected after a great effort. They had come from being down 21-7 to actually lead this game 24-21. But what a great job of execution and a gutty call. They had the ball at about the 12-yard line, nearly turned it over, and they come back and run a play that requires 2 great passes, and they get both of them.
And we talked earlier about the fact that you got 2 guys back there who can throw the football. you didn't maybe expect it in that situation. But what a time to pull it.
I'll tell you what, people in Spencer County will talk about this game for a long, long time. People in Zionsville will ache about this game for a long, long time. But everybody else along our television network is treated to a great play. And watch it again, Jerry.
Cutler gets it out on the flat. It looked like a setup running play, and then all of a sudden, Seifrig throws it right back to Cutler. Nobody covered him over here on the near side. He just dashes his way into the end zone. We talked earlier about Seifrig. He has thrown 5 passes this year. He is good for 5 of 5, 112 yards. And let's go down to the sideline. Chris Denary with the victorious head coach.
You're looking at Billy Slammer.
Coach Bob Clayton, congratulations. First time to the RCA Dome, and you pull it off.
Well, you know, it took a trick play to do it. Zionsville took the momentum in the second half and played a great game, and you got to give them all the credit in the world. I think the people got their money's worth, but our kids hung in tough in overtime.
You guys did struggle in the second half, just couldn't get things going offensively. I know Jay Cutler was struggling. Apropos that he scores the winning touchdown.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Jay come back and get that, you know. He was struggling. He you know, maybe wasn't poised, I don't know, but he's the one that got us here, and he's the one that won it for us.
Ken Dilger was here. This has to be a great day for your community.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, the people certainly got their money's worth. I tell you what, our fans have supported us, and I bet there's nobody left back home. We're just thrilled. What a great game this was.
Coach, go celebrate with your team. Congratulations.
Thank you, I will.
All right, Heritage Hills uses a trick play, Jerry and Bob, to pull things off here. Let's go back to you.
Well, I'll tell you, it takes a little guts just to call that play, but they did, and it was successful. So your final score in overtime is Heritage Hills 27, Zionsville 24 for the 3A title. We'll take a short break and come right back to the RCA Dome where the Patriots are the champions. Let's see sports on the IHSAA television network. One of the things you look forward to when you come to this particular level of play is a hotly contested game. We couldn't have had a better one. The first ever 3A championship overtime with Heritage Hills pulling out the win by 3.
Boy, what a gutty play and great execution. You know, the first pass in this play, Jay Cutler to Seifrig, if he doesn't catch this ball, and it was pretty high thrown, it might have been a turnover. It would have cost him the ball game, but he comes back with a great pass. And look at the block. I mean, you talk about heroes. How about Josh Metters, number 71? Enough of a block to get his man in and win the championship. And our congratulations to Heritage Hills and Zionsville. Boy, thanks for a classic high school football game.
They popped some numbers in the second half. 241 total yards for Zionsville, only 35 for Heritage Hills. Back down to the sidelines and Chris Denary.
All right, thanks very much, Big. Jay Cutler, the quarterback for Heritage Hills. Jay, congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, this is great. I mean, this is what we're working for all year, and we pulled it out.
Talk about the final play. You throw the screen pass over to Cole. He finds you back. A little trickery to win things, huh?
Our defense really stepped up in the fourth quarter. Guys pushing it overtime, and we forced them to a field goal, and then just a little throwback there, and we caught them off guard.
You guys got off to a great start, led 21-7 at the half. What happened, I guess, in the second half?
We were rolling there, but, I mean, Zionsville tough. I mean, their line came out here and was just firing off the ball. And they fought back, but our defense held there at the end.
I'm sure Ken Dilger, Indianapolis Colt on the sideline. You saw him play, I'm sure, when you were a kid at Heritage Hills. What does it feel like to be a state champion?
I mean, this is great. I mean, this is everything you play football for, and we finally got it.
All right, congratulations, Jay.
Thanks.
Jay Cutler, senior quarterback, leads Heritage Hills to the victory, scores the touchdown on the pass from Cole Seeger. And now let's throw it back to Jerry and Bob.
All right, thank you, Chris. Bob, you picked it up amongst all the stuff going down there. They've handed out the Phil Inescu Award.
Adam Kress is the award winner from Heritage Hills, and the senior, 6'3", 220, played offense and defense, played his heart out today, as did everybody on both sides of the ball. He's down there with his mom and dad, and boy, you just got to be happy for that young man. And boy, the folks down in Spencer County, they're partying down there in the Pocket Conference right now. They got to be proud of these ball players, the Patriots from Heritage Hills. Well, Chris Denary is on the field now with Adam Kress. Chris.
All right, thank you very much. The SQ Award winner, Adam Kress. You win a nice individual award, but I'm sure most happily you've won a state championship.
This is just great. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I'm just in awe right now.
Talk about what Coach said to you in the overtime, because the second half appeared to be all Zionsville, yet you guys get a big win in the overtime.
He said we kind of dominated the first half, and they took over the second half, that the overtime was going to be us. They beat us in overtime 4 or 5 years ago down in our place, and we want to come out here and beat them in overtime up here now.
Adam, clearly you're a state champion, but you also have to excel in the classroom to win an award like this, the SQ Mental Attitude Award. Talk about what you do at Heritage Hills besides the football team.
You just try to get your homework done on time, just work hard at everything you do. I mean, just try to get, I don't know, this is a great honor, and I don't know what to say.
All right, Adam, congratulations.
Thanks.
Adam Kress is the SQ Mental Attitude Award winner, and Heritage the state championship in 3A. Back to you guys up top.
It's a terrific honor, and we're very proud of him, of course. On the southern tip of the state, down in the area City, are very, very happy also. Heritage Hills goes to 15-0 on the year. Zionsville falls to 11-4. Bob Nagel, we could not have, I guess, written the script any better than what we saw here this afternoon.
Well, we talked about so much about how Jay Cutler and Cole Seafrig would be key players this game. It turns out they team up on the final play, and boy, you feel so bad for Zionsville. It hurts so much because it meant so much, and they had such a great season. They win in overtime. Now they lose in overtime. They've had a great season, and I tell you what, they'll be welcoming home parties for both these teams. And Ken Duggar, little smile on his face. He'll have to live up to that Heritage Hills tradition tomorrow for the Colts against the Dolphins.
They're going to need some catches like that out of Ken tomorrow. Well, we've got two today. Our home is the Dome. Bob and I and Chris and the rest of our crew here. The 4A finals coming up. Plainfield and East coming up in about 40 minutes at about 3:30, and then later on tonight at 7 o'clock we got the 5A title game between Center Grove and Penn. Do not wander far away, because we've got a full afternoon left of high school football. Our congratulations again to Heritage Hills, the winner of the 3A championship, 27-24 over Zionsville in overtime. For Bob and Chris and the rest of our crew, we'll see you at 3:30 this afternoon.